commercially used and people love, produced by 4 of the biggest organic producers in the country. Group's one of them. The others are even bigger established companies. Our new whey is one of the biggest, best organic companies. It's grass-fed whey, organic, super high quality. That's available out of the gates, 20% off. We've got Caveman Combo. The new strawberry flavor is excellent. Vanilla didn't taste too good, so we never launched that. We have chocolate and vanilla, amazing bone broth concentrate, then the turmeric, the chocolate mushrooms, the bee pollen, and so much more. It's the number one selling bone broth formula out there. Bone broth, obviously, it's the equivalent of chicken noodle soup to it squared. It's concentrated. So that's an amazing product. Now it's strawberry flavor. That's 25% off. Super Female Vitality sells okay. Super Male is one of our best sellers, but Super Female is amazing, and it's almost the same formula as Super Male. The Super Male formula discount is gone because it's about to sell out. Super Female, we've got quite a bit of that, but I have no need to sell it at 57% off, which is basically a loss leader. But I'm doing it because I want women that have never tried it, or men, to try it, because for some men it works better for them. A guy doesn't like taking something that says it's for a female, but it's just a formula that's more geared towards women. I personally think some of the herbs in it are stronger. Some of them are weaker, but it's tailored for women, but works better for some men. That's 57% off right now. Silver Bullet, Colloidal Silver, 66% off, $9.95. We've got the Super Silver special, Colloidal Silver bottle, Silver Bullet, the Super Blue toothpaste with colloidal silver and iodine, fluoride-free, and the electric toothbrush, 50% off. That's $34.93. Comparable toothbrushes sell for that much. The toothbrush sells for $19 normally. We're selling for $10 in that combo. That's what we get it for. So some of that is a loss leader. The toothbrush is a loss leader, but then we make some money on the toothpaste and the Silver Bullet with it. But that is an amazing deal. 50% off on the Super Silver special. Pro Pure Traveler, amazing system, very best gravity filter out there. Again, that's 30% off. Alexa Pure Breeze, amazing. Comparable units cost $200, $300 more. It's $149, and it's normal $219. It's a super deal. Great system. Vitamin Mineral Fusion with amino acids as well, $39.95. That's 33% off. Knockout is $14.95, 50% off. Prostagard is 33% off. Myco ZX is 46% off, because I want you to see the other part of the equation. InfoWarsLife.com, InfoWarsStore.com, or 888-253-3139. It targets the fungus and all the rest of the garbage. Owen Schroyer's riding shotgun there very dutifully because I'm on the road in case I have any glitches. He pops in. We come back for several segments. We're taking your calls ahead of the big pastor, friends with Trump, been on before, Patriot, Mr. Brown, who met with the senior congressman about the martial law plan, the coup plan. Now, he brought this out on Monday. Here we are on Wednesday. Yesterday, a day after, Brendan comes out and says it on TV. They're getting a coup ready. So see the credibility of this. So that means they're getting ready to go live. We hope to back them off and stop them. But if we don't make a big deal out of this, if we let them normalize it, they're going to pull it. So again, but free shipping on top of all those specials, that ends this week. It's been throughout the month of July, but it's about to end. InfoWarsStore.com or 888-253-3139. You think our information's hardcore? You think our focus is brutal? Try our nutraceuticals. Try our supplements. We've taken Brain Force and made it Brain Force Plus. Now at 20% more in the bottle and an even more hardcore formula. You owe it to yourself to get these products. They really have worked for myself, my family. They have 5-star reviews out of the thousands. Secure your Brain Force Plus today at InfoWarsLife.com. Now 20% stronger. Again, InfoWarsLife.com. Ruthless offshore elites use their corporate liberal media to attack and demonize any Americans or any independent news that dare challenge their lies. 5 companies own over 90% of the media. And that's why, whether it's comedy shows, award shows, Hollywood, TV entertainment, the news, it doesn't matter. It's all focused in one anti-American, anti-free market, anti-family, anti-Christian, anti-gun voice. And it gets worse. These ruthless social engineers have an iron grip on our educational system and are teaching our children to hate America and that our president is worse than Hitler and needs to be assassinated. But as America reawakens, these powerful deep state rogue government forces are beginning to panic. They they've even got the former president on television and in the news and traveling to foreign countries, bad-mouthing America, bad-mouthing sovereignty, and calling for resistance to our elected president. In a last-ditch effort, mainstream media is now legitimizing the use of violence against anyone that opposes the globalist takeover and against anyone who's actually trying to make this nation great again. They are absolutely intensifying their efforts, screaming homophobe, xenophobe, racist, to make them march, to make them go out on the streets and assault viciously anyone trying to exercise their free speech. International criminals like George Soros are openly pushing for civil insurrection in America that will lead to civil war. The beatings, the stabbings, the shootings, the burning cars, the looting of shops, the execution of police officers, all of this leads to the destabilization, to the martial law that the deep state and the globalists say they need to bring in their final takeover of America. We are America, and we are the InfoWar.
DNA Force is finally back in stock at InfoWarsStore.com. DNA Force protects your body from the toxic environment that surrounds us all. The powerful ingredients include Bio-PQQ and coenzyme Q10. Protect yourself against dangerous free radicals. Optimize cellular energy. It's DNA Force. It's available for a limited time only. Get yours today, right now, at InfoWarsStore.com.
Crashing through the lies and disinformation, it's Alex Jones coming to you live from the front lines of the InfoWar.
We are defending the Republic here. Thanks to listeners, we're breaking through. We've got a president in. The globalists are counter-striking and revealing themselves even more. We're going to go to Steve, Patrick, Jason, Carlos, Megan, and others ahead of Pastor Brown exposing the martial law from his White House meeting that the Democrats are planning. He'll be joining us. The planned coup, the murder of the president, now being publicly announced by Brennan and others on national television. They're just reporting like it's very calm that we're going to bipartisanly take him out in a coup. They're moving forward with that right now. Outside of elections, outside of impeachment, Wolf Blitzer says, but, you'd have to have Congress remove him. They go, no, we have other things we're doing. And so there you go. Blitzer's smart enough to hedge his bets. Doesn't sound too safe, does it, old Blitzy? You guys are really going to go too far, aren't you? You can't help it, though. All of you want to get your feet wet. All the little wimp analysts and want to be tough guys out there want to get your feet wet. Well, boy, I hope it doesn't rain, but if it does, it's going to rain a lot. And I think you're going to get your face wet. Let's go ahead and go to Patrick in North Carolina. Patrick, you are on the air.
How's it going, Alex? First time.
Good, buddy. Go ahead. Welcome.
I was calling to say that I think that Attorney General Jeff Sessions needs to go. I think Trump needs to start purging everybody, whether the Democrat, Republican, he needs to expose them. And I think he needs to take it a step further and even expose the Federal Reserve.
Well, he has announced a move to audit it. That's why he's got the Pauls behind him. And he's getting real close to Rand Paul. That's my dream that would happen. I know Drudge might have had something to do with that. A little bird told me. So a lot of exciting things going on behind the scenes. But you're absolutely right. I mean, he's got to do it. They're the ones, dereliction of duty. And Sessions has done a great job in the Senate, but he's choking. He's choking.
I believe he's going against the will of the American people. He's battling in the wrong areas. He really needs to go after these people, go after the criminals who are bringing us down.
Exactly. We have to go after the current infestation in D.C. God bless you. I appreciate your call. They're doing a great job. 69% down in illegals coming across the borders 6 months in. So, I mean, Sessions is doing a great job other than prosecute Hillary. We have to get on the offense. Everything they say Trump's done, they've done. Great point, sir. All right, we got Megan, Carlos, Stephen, Jason. You want to comment on what he just said real quick, Owen?
Well, I mean, it's obvious at this point that if Trump doesn't have an administration and a cabinet that's not only communicating together, that's why he brought in Scaramucci, but also is willing to not play defense, but also go on the offense. I mean, that's something that you've been saying since the election. Why isn't Trump going on the offense? Why isn't he? I mean, Alex, this is a joke. You had Debbie Wasserman Schultz, IT person, get arrested trying to flee the country. Okay? You had Lee Stranahan on yesterday breaking down the collusion with Hillary Clinton and the Ukrainians. Nothing on the Hill today, Alex. Zero. Zero on the mainstream news. Zero. Where is the Attorney General on that?
We have the Democrats colluding basically with over 50 foreign governments and getting money, hundreds of millions from foreign governments into the election coffer. They should all go to jail. It's open and shut. But they're trying to find a crooked fingernail on Trump. And they've got a dragnet out so big, they're going to find something in his whole system.
Yeah, Mueller can do whatever he wants now, and that's because of the special counsel giving him free reign.
Absolutely. Let's go to another call. We see Steve, who's been holding the longest here. Let's talk to Steve in New York. Steve, thanks for holding with Jason in Germany.
Hi, Alex. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Hey, it's incredible to be able to get through to you. I've been trying to get through for 2 years, so I guess miracles are possible.
Well, the miracle's about to happen. I didn't hear the music coming up. I'm on the road. 70 seconds. I'm coming right back to you, Steve. Don't hang up. We're 70 seconds away from Steve, and then we're about 8-9 minutes away from Pastor Brown, and we'll continue on with your calls. But Steve, Jason, Carlos, Megan, John, everybody, your calls are straight ahead.
Thank you for listening to GCN. Visit GCNlive.com today.
Hey, did you know that you can now preserve your own food for up to 25 years and still maintain its nutrition and flavor? That's right. Now's the time to build your own food storage with Harvest Right's freeze dryers. Go to InfoWarsStore.com to learn more and check out this innovative and smart technology that's easy to use. And let me tell you something, it is perfect for freeze drying fruits, vegetables, meats, dairy products, desserts, and entire meals. Woo, that's what I'm talking about. And when compared to traditional methods of preservation, like canning or dehydrating, you know, like what you get at the grocery store, there is no comparison. Harvest Right freeze dryers retain 97% of the food's taste, color, and nutritional value and have a shelf life of up to 25 years. Now that's what I call the miracle of food preservation. Harvest Right is truly the world's best, most affordable freeze dryer. So what are you waiting for? Check it out right now at InfoWarsStore.com.
Leading a frontal assault on the lies of the New World Order, it's Alex Jones. The front lines of the information war, it's Alex Jones.
What we are looking at is good and evil, right and wrong.
Everyone listening has a choice to make. What are you doing during the Second American Revolution as we face an evil far more wicked than King George III? What are you going to do as Brennan and Clapper on the same stage discuss a violent coup against the president and his removal forcibly from office, a new election run by Democrat-controlled Homeland Security? We'll never come back from this. This is the pure conversion to authoritarianism because they know America has rejected their collectivism, their globalism, their political correctness, their anti-Christian, pro-radical Islam garbage. What are you going to do to stop them openly calling for a violent coup? What are you going to do to raise the alarm and not let them normalize it on national television? That's the question I'm asking. Steve in New York. Go ahead, sir.
Hey, Alex. I just wanted to say that I bought 30 of the Trump shirts. I'm wearing a Trump Pence 2020 shirt now, and I get a lot of good comments when I go. I'm in New England, near New York and Vermont, and it's just incredible the power that I feel when I'm watching your show. And I, don't want to say thanks a million times, but really thanks. I'm giving away the shirts to the veterans that come from my customers in my store, so they're really glad. It might be just one or two of them, I give out, but I can tell, in their heart, they really feel and they understand what you're doing there. And I just wanted to say that. And as far as the coup goes, I know I've heard you say a lot of times that when the bomber is over the target, the flak comes in, and I think this is really what's happening here. The flak is coming in. Trump's on target. You're on target. You're making a difference. They're feeling it. They're feeling the pressure. They got to come up.
The reason I don't want you to thank me is you're getting it backwards. It's you. You're the reason they're in trouble. We're just a focal point. Trump's just a focal point. Understand that. But it's symbiotic. They want to destroy us to get at you, to make you be demoralized. But no matter what they do to me or Trump, we're winning. We're never going to fail. If they're dumb enough to kill us, it'll blow up even bigger in their face. But at that point, unfortunately, they've crossed a line. And just understand, they're going to try to trick the police into a civil war. You got to go around them. Everybody has to understand we've got to work as hard as we can to stop a violent revolution, a violent civil war. But if they push us into one, they've drawn first blood. Everybody's got to commit and just, forget the maneuvers, go straight at them. And everybody's got to really think about who runs the show, who's responsible in your area, right on up. Who asked for this fight? Who pushed it?
Sure. I understand. I'm making a difference. I'm doing what I can. But like I say, I'm a New Yorker, and I understand Trump. I've seen, what he's done, and I know his capabilities. And we've only just gotten started, and he doesn't even have his staff picked out yet. And it's already, it's already ridiculous. That's
right. They tried to block him for 6 months with everything they've gotten. They keep saying he's got nothing legislative done, but via executive, he's done wonders to kill globalism. God bless you, Steve. More calls coming up after we have the pastor on. So just hold 20, 30 minutes, and we'll get to Natalie and Jason and Carlos and Megan. Megan's up next, but taking us out to break. This is such a critical time. I get goosebumps. I cannot describe to folks, Owen, how hardcore this is.
Well, I think that one of the issues that Trump has right now is if Sessions was to resign or to be fired, now he has to jump over another hurdle of getting another AG through all the testimonies and appointed when you know that the swamp is going to try to stop that.
That's right. I mean, it's just a nightmare because people are scared. They're being threatened. Their families are being threatened.
Exactly. That's the key right there. I'm worried about Jeff Sessions and his family. I pray for them.
Absolutely. There's no telling what he's been through, but this is just a nightmare situation. We're in a war, folks. We're in a war. We'll be back.
After speaking with his military staff, President Trump has banned transgenders from the military, citing disruptions in the service such as structural accommodations and increased costs as the primary reasons. His decision stems from a long-standing controversy over whether the military should provide insurance for soldiers to transition from one gender to another. In other news, President Trump also publicly blasted his Attorney General Jeff Sessions for not replacing acting FBI Director Andrew McCabe, who was at the center of controversy after his wife received $700,000 for her political campaign from Hillary Clinton. McCabe was handling the FBI investigation into Clinton. The president also blasted Sessions on Tuesday for taking, quote, a very weak position on Hillary Clinton crimes. So far, Sessions has focused more on ramping up civil asset forfeiture and prosecuting marijuana users than investigating Hillary Clinton. CNN, however, has launched an investigation into media pioneer Matt Drudge. The founder of the Drudge Report has been spending a lot of time at the White House, which has forced establishment media to not only acknowledge his influence over Trump, but also his role as the progress meter of the Trump agenda and how the Drudge Report represents middle America. If Matt Drudge is concerned about the progress Trump is making, so should the president. This is Kit Daniels with Infowars.com.
Vitamin Mineral Fusion. Visit InfoWarsLife.com to secure your canister. We have worked for years with our chemists and scientists to create the most powerful and affordable, great-tasting multivitamin formula available. Vitamin Mineral Fusion Drink Mix at InfoWarsLife.com is loaded with a full month supply of essential vitamins, minerals, and amino acids that your body absolutely needs. In the history of InfoWars Life, we've brought out a lot of amazing products like Survival Shield X2, Super Male Vitality, and so many others. With its unique delivery system and proprietary manufacturing process designed for maximized effects, this formula is the platinum standard of multivitamin mineral products. And this part is most important. The ingredients in Vitamin Mineral Fusion are either plant-derived or of the highest quality lab standard. That means it's clean. That means it's pure. And rest assured, you're fighting the tip of the spear in the info war. That's InfoWarsLife.com and Vitamin Mineral Fusion. Take action now before we sell out. Myco ZX is back in after 5+ months sold out. Talk about next level probiotic. It's the anti-fungus, anti-yeast, latest technology, 4.8 stars. It's been sold sold out for months, big waiting list, limited amount because it's so hard to get the compounds and to have it be California standards. Nobody's got something that's good. Save 30% off of Myco ZX and get the gut health support pack when you get it with the Biome Defense 50 billion live in each pill probiotic. Myco ZX contains 7 of the world's most powerful organic and well-crafted ingredients designed to attack and melt away the membrane of yeast and fungal organisms. Start fighting back against hidden yeast and fungus with Myco ZX at InfoWarsLife.com before it sells out again. 10% off when you choose auto ship. It's kind of embarrassing to get family and crew members on that, have irritable bowel and Crohn's type stuff that didn't exist 50 years ago. Now it's epidemic. But I'm getting ready to have a bunch of folks go ahead and come on here and tell you what it did for them, because regardless, you can't lose your fun in the operation. InfoWarsLife.com, InfoWarsStore.com, or 888-253-3139.
Live from Austin, Texas, broadcasting worldwide, it's Alex Jones.
I know you deceive me, now here's a surprise.
I introduced the Howard Brown clip. Come to me.
I know that you have, 'cause there's magic in my eyes.
Ladies and gentlemen, we can see for miles and miles and miles and miles, because we have great patriots like Pastor Rodney Howard Brown, who's warned of the dangers of collectivism, globalism, you name it. He and his wife in 1987 fled South Africa as it was beginning to collapse. Now with $300 and 4 suitcases and their 3 children. And now he has Revival Ministries International, travels 46 weeks out of the year, has their great church in Tampa that supports them, revival.com, one of the most successful, prolific, and powerful evangelical preachers out there. One of the guys I enjoy, I know, watching and listening to. You can just tell he's got the spirit, the focus, and the courage to stand against tyranny. They are organizing in the Financial Times of London, New Yorker Magazine, Foreign Affairs, Public Affairs of the CFR, and Atlantic Monthly, a coup, a violent killing of the president. They even have articles where deputy secretaries of defense under Obama shop a Pentagon coup, and it's in the newspaper, selling it like it's normal. We're talking about an illegal action. Now, 3 days after this video clip came out of him addressing his church, coming back from Washington this Sunday, Brennan, the former head of the CIA, came out at the Aspen Institute yesterday. Paul Watson wrote about it today. It's on Infowars.com. We played the clip 3 times already, and said, oh, we're not going to have impeachment. We're getting bipartisan in the government, the bureaucracy, to prepare a coup. Confirming everything that a senior member of the Republican Party in Congress told Pastor Rodney Howard Brown of Revival.com. Now we have them saying it publicly. So they're doing that. You say, well, don't they want it to be secret? No. They've lost the election. The Russian thing's made up. They've done illegal spying for the few Russian contacts that were there, because the Russians throw themselves at everybody, just like the Chinese. Of course they've got their people out there. The Trumps met with them to see if there was dirt on Hillary. That's what you're supposed to do. Trump said, if you got the WikiLeaks of her emails, release them. She's the one committing the crimes. She's the one with the uranium deals. She's the one with the foundation, $100+ million from Russian banks. So they turn it all around, and still they're failing, and they know Trump's getting more support, not less. So they're panicking. So here is the pastor this Sunday laying this out, and now, days later, the former CIA director, the same one that told the president to shut his mouth, goes public trying to sell the idea. Here is the pastor.
As high as what Monday was, Tuesday was a low, because I got to go into the Congress and spend 3 hours from 9:30 in the evening to 12:30 a.m. with one of the senior ranking members of Congress. And he told me, and of course this is what I said on CBN, but they cut it out, but I'm going to go public with this because we have to. He said there is a plot on Capitol Hill to take the president out. I said, you mean by impeachment or by indictment? He said, no, to take him out. He will be removed suddenly from office. Well, you can read between the lines. I said, look, that's not going to happen. He said, well, really, there's nothing we can do to stop it. I said, we are going to stop it because we're going to mobilize the body of Christ to pray. So listen, they started a war. They are so upset about what's happening because since when last has the body of Christ had access into the White House? It wasn't that way under Reagan. They might come and go a little bit. It wasn't that way under Clinton. It wasn't that way under both Bushes. And it definitely wasn't that way under Obama. But we have a president that's opened the door for the body of Christ. And that is huge, whichever way you want to look at it. And let me tell you, everybody's moaning Republican, Democrat. He actually is neither. He's basically a populist that the American people voted for. They put a businessman in the White House because things are so fouled up. Well, if you want to really see fouled up, go to Congress and go sit and talk to he's been there since 96. So he knows everything about what's going on. And I can tell you the games that have been played, how they're actually trying to set the president up in every way. So, but when he told me what he said, that they are planning, the talk on the Hill is the plan that suddenly he'll be removed. So what we're going to do, we're going to launch it today. It's a 24-hour prayer initiative to pray around the clock, and we do it across the nation, around the world, for the protection of the president.
Absolutely. Joining us, and a lot of people know this. As you know, big national Christian networks got this info. They're scared to run it. Now, they have the former CIA director admitting that they're actually planning to do this. This is so illegal. This is so criminal. And Trump, when I've talked to him, he said, without even bringing it up, the First Amendment, Alex, Congress shall make no law respecting an established religion. The government's not supposed to be involved. We're going to get the First Amendment back to the churches. He said, that's the first thing I'm going to do. He brings it up. He is really upset about the fact that only Democrat churches have free speech. And that's another reason they're mad. So this is about a man that's not a fake Pharisee, but somebody who really does love God and who's been through a process the last 5 years of getting closer to God, almost like Saul of Tarsus on the road to Damascus. But I'm going to stop preaching because our preacher's here with us right now. It's only with us at the bottom of the hour. He might be able to stay a little bit longer, but I wanted to intro that with his words. Pastor Rodney Howard Brown, revival.com. Thank you so much for joining us during this critical time.
Hey, Alex, I can't believe you're speaking to me from beautiful Hawaii.
And I tell you, God's real when you see this place.
It's so good to be here with you today. We actually have conducted meetings in Washington, D.C. I started in 2014, went to Constitution Hall, which is right in the shadow of the White House, for 15 nights, because I didn't know what to do. We could sit and moan about the things in the government, but we have to do something. So for 15 nights, I went there, preached. We had 31,000 people give their lives to the Lord. And I also stood every night, must have looked like a total idiot, and just issued a restraining order, basically in prayer, telling the devil, you can't have America, speaking to the powers that be, to cease and desist in their maneuvers. And we went back in 2015, we went back in 16, and of course now, God has given us a last-minute reprieve. We're not through the woods, because all the never-Trumpers, all the neocons, all the people that didn't want the president are still working against him. And so Monday, 2 weeks ago, when we went in, we actually weren't going to meet with the president. We were just there in strategy meeting with 25, my wife and myself, 25 other leaders with the president, and different members of the administration were coming in. We were talking to them, asking questions. After lunch, Jared Kushner came in. We asked him questions. You could ask whatever you want to. I don't think this has ever been allowed before in any White House I know. And then he left. About an hour later, in walked the vice president. And so when I saw him, I stood up. People didn't know why I was standing, but there was the vice president. He said, I was in the Oval Office. Jared came in, told me that you guys were here. And I said, the president, I'm going to go see them. And the president said, no, bring him down to the Oval Office. So we went down unannounced. It was like very surreal for me coming as a missionary from Africa 30 years ago. Now you stand yourself standing in the Oval Office. And I felt to go and stand behind him, because I'm not on his side or in front of him. I'm behind him. I'm supporting our president, and I did from day one. And so that picture you see of the hands, that's my hand, my wife's hand. And of course, I waited till the White House gave us permission to release it. And then we did. Of course, it went viral, picked up by the Mail Online in London, South Africa, Australia. We were getting calls from all over. And so, of course, the media all freaking out about the picture, because how terrible. I think CNN said, isn't it just terrible that they were touching the president? But the president has no problem with that. People have no clue that, he's undone already 60% of the Obama agenda. That the media
you judge a tree by its fruits, and exactly when I talk to Trump, he brings it up. He says, "You feel the spirit in that inauguration. Do you feel the spirit at the event there in Cleveland?" He really does feel the energy of God and of Christians, and the more Christians embraced him, the more his faith is getting strengthened. That's what's scaring him right now.
Totally. So they're really afraid, and it was the most amazing time. They said. He was, uptight. He was relaxed, joking. It was very funny. I'm very proud of the president. Now, so as high as what Monday was, Tuesday was like a low. I go into the Congress, and I can't divulge the name. It was a senior congressman. But here's what he said. First of all, we went for 3 hours. He talked about the health care plan that was going to be passed. He said, it's not really the president. This is Paul Ryan's plan, and it's going to make Paul Ryan $800 billion. And then he would be able to do whatever he wants to do with it and basically set up the president for a weakened position in 2018 and 2020. So we talked about many things. And then he said, the talk on the Hill is that the president will be removed suddenly in the next 2 months. I said, what are you talking about? Impeachment? Indictment? He said, no, he'll be removed suddenly. And I'm not even maybe talking about somebody firing a bullet, but he would be immobilized. He would be immobilized. And at that juncture, then Pence would be president and Paul Ryan would be vice president. May God help us. So here's the thing. When I was interviewed by CBN, I put it on there. They cut it out. So I thought I have to go public with it. And I'm going to meet with the Secret Service and explain what he said. But he said this was the talk on the Hill. This is a congressman that totally loves the president. He cannot even get to the president because the people around the president are blocking him from even getting to the president. He wants to help the president. He wants to help the president's agenda. But there are people in the Republican Party and the neocons that are doing everything they can. So the president said, please, can we do this? Yes, Mr. President. They go and they do the exact opposite. So that's the problem. We have to pray for him. That's why I launched this 24-hour prayer initiative to pray for the protection of the president because, we don't know. This is not how America operates. We've had a situation whereby John Kennedy was taken out, and that was because he was going to totally transform the financial system, and they didn't want that. Reagan, of course, came out of the blue, but they put Bush Sr., who was the CIA operative, to watch him, and he had a bullet fired across his path. But other than that, all the others, Bush and Clinton, which they are personal friends, these people have been family friends for years, and even Obama played into the same narrative. You can see the dogs of war. We're in Afghanistan. We're running the opium of the world. We're in Syria because it's about an oil pipeline. Because you know how Al Qaeda is funded out of here by all these foundations and these things. And
Trump just killed that. President Trump killed that 2 weeks ago. He killed NATO and the globalist funding of ISIS and Al Qaeda. That's why he threatened NATO until they decided to stop funding. We're ending a Machiavellian evil policy of world enmity and world collapse and world crisis and chaos that they get their power from, and trying to bring back a good, straight up, soft power initiative that empowers everybody except tyrants. And that's why the forces of evil, as you say, it's spiritual, are totally arrayed against Trump. It is just incredible to see this, as you say, 11th hour reprieve. And I think if we miss this reprieve, the allegory of what's happening currently ties into what Nineveh and Jonah getting their reprieve. I think that if we don't take this reprieve and really use it, I think we're going to go into serious judgment. You're a lot more of a theologian than I. You've traveled the world like probably nobody else has, one of the biggest missionaries out there. What is your gut level spiritual discernment on this?
So, Alex, we have been praying. We've had, over the years, all-night prayer. That means people come here and they pray right through the night, just for America. You see, I came from South Africa. I became a citizen. I had to raise my hand to pledge to defend the Constitution against enemies, foreign and domestic. So even though I'm a minister, I have to speak out. If I don't speak out, I have to renounce my citizenship and leave. You cannot be American and not do something about what we're facing. So here's where we are. God has heard our cry. And as much as some people get all angry that Trump is not the way that they think that he should be, let me tell you, anybody they would put in there would get eaten alive. God raised up Donald Trump as a wrecking ball to this globalist agenda to destroy America. And so we have a window, and we have to move quickly on this. We cannot sit idly by. Everybody must be mobilized. Everybody must speak out, and we have to wake up the population. Many churches are sleeping. Pastors are afraid. They're afraid of losing their tithe. They're afraid of losing their 501c3. Alex, I've said this publicly. If they want mine, I will take my 501c3, take a jar of Vaseline and send it to them. They can use it as a suppository. We are not going to be quiet. We're not going to be quiet. We can't.
Well, Pastor, I can tell that we both have the same spirit. So does President Trump. And as you said it, he's stubborn. He hates bullies. He's always hated big banks. I know you're an expert on that. And globalists that have tried to push him around. He is the blue-collar billionaire. So it is that stubbornness that God's using against him. You say like John the Baptist was pretty stubborn and aggressive and all the rest of it. But if you look at it, it's absolutely true. Throughout the Bible and throughout history, God works in mysterious ways and a lot of times raises up somebody who isn't the perfect goody two-shoe to go up against evil. Can you speak to that? And I know God's spirit has different aspects. What would you call this spirit of resistance against tyranny that we see that is driving us in our bones to resist and speak out right now?
Well, look at Samson. What a unique ministry. I was joking, said he took a jawbone of his mother-in-law and killed 1,000 enemies. But he took a jawbone of a donkey. Samson was God's deliverer for his people. I often prayed, I said, Lord, can't we have a modern-day Samson and just send him straight to Washington and just clean the house, But here we are with President Trump, and he understands. He knows what's going on. He's not stupid. The media make him out to be like he doesn't know, but he's very, very sharp. He knows what's going on. And he also realizes that we have to have divine intervention in America. Without divine intervention, Alex, we have no hope because these things have been around for a long, long time. This is not something that was initiated under the Obama regime or the Bush or the Clinton. This is something that goes right back to 1913 at the foundation of the Federal Reserve. And
before that, the Tower of Babel and the Tower of Babel in Egypt, always they're trying to set up a one-world government.
Totally. So we are the resistance. We are the ones that are to stand up. And I got ministers saying to me, you trying to change Bible prophecy? Don't you know in the end times the Antichrist will take over? I said, look, over my dead body, I'm not going to go quietly into history. I said, how do we live with ourselves in eternity when we know? So we get to heaven. We're in heaven, you and me, we're in heaven. And there's Stephen, who was stoned for his faith. And then we have to tap Stephen on the shoulder and say, Stephen, you love Jesus more than we did. I couldn't live with myself. I tap him on the shoulder and say, hey, Stephen, we loved him equally, but you could never have loved him more than what we did. The founder...
Well, of course, and it's these fights that bring out who we really are. This is the fire that tests us. This is the experience. This is the boot camp. This is the test. And this modern cosmology in churches of just hide in the church. Thank God they want microchips. Thank God the child molesters are taking over because wickedness is increasing as in the days of Noah. That means Jesus is about to come back. Well, it means as one world government and all this comes in that we're meant to wake as many people up so that they make the right spiritual choice, not just accept it all and let your kids plug into the matrix.
Yeah, and Jesus said, occupy till I come. The fact of the matter is that this 56 signs the Declaration of Independence lost everything. So with respect to them, as an American, we have to, I don't care who you are, it's got nothing to do with, someone said, well, that doesn't involve me. It involves every single American. And it's quite crazy that I come from Africa, but I'm more red, white, and blue than a lot of the red, white, and blue. We have to stand up and we have to be counted. We have a window.
Well, that's because you came out of seeing wars and tyranny and manipulation and communism. I mean, it's the same thing with Eastern Europeans coming in who live under communism. They appreciate freedom, or folks coming from Africa or wherever. But let's expand on that in the time we have. Talking to the congressman, talking to others, we now have, I don't know if you've seen this, the former head of the CIA saying we need to have basically a military coup against Trump. He said that 3 days after your sermon. So they're now in major publications like Atlantic Monthly actually calling for what you said.
It's ridiculous. I mean, if people can't see that there's a problem, then they must be that far asleep that they don't realize that that's how far gone we are. But the very fact that President Trump is in the White House today is a miracle. Knowing what I know, it's a total miracle. He should never have ever made it. They wanted one of the other minions in there so they could continue with their agenda. But God has heard the cry of the church, put him in, and now we must back him, pray for him, stand behind him, and we've got to get up and get mobilized, mobilize everybody. We've got to reach into our inner cities, Alex, because that's the problem where the big melting pot is. As you know, they've been kept as slaves in the inner city on government aid and support, and we're doing that. We're busing people in. We're doing everything we can to go in and then train people, teach them, show them what is happening, because they've even been taught a false history concerning America. And so that's why they're trying to stir up racism, get everybody fighting one another, because that's the game. You get people fighting each other, and then you steal everything that they have. And so that's why I spoke out, because when I heard that there was a plan to basically immobilize the president, he'd be immobilized, he can't function in office anymore, and the congressman said, that's the talk on the Hill. He didn't say who said. He said that what
I want to be specifically, when they say immobilized, they're talking about a COG, military overthrow. Wolf Blitzer says, you mean impeachment? He goes, no, we're talking about bipartisanly bureaucracy doing it. That is totally illegal. Trump will resist it. And believe me, that's just the public cover. They're getting the public ready for him to be killed. I want to ask you a question. Looking at this, they're trying to shut down free speech. They're going after Christians. They now realize Trump is standing against that as a last gasp. That's why they're so desperate. The churches need to know, at this crossroads, covering their rear ends, not sticking their heads up, they're going to lose everything. Don't they understand that they're going to lose their free speech if they don't stand up now?
Look, it's like the churches in Germany, when there were churches near each other and they would come to take the people, to take them to the gas chambers. The other church would sing loud, to drown out the cries. So that's always been around. And you hear the story of the Good Samaritan, how, the Levite walked by and then the priest walks by. But it took somebody putting themselves in harm's way to get down off his horse or donkey, whatever he's riding, and then pick him up and take him to the inn. And so the church should be on that mission. If you go back and study history, as you have, you see people like Wilberforce that stopped slavery in England. These people were counted. People like Dr. David Livingstone that went through Africa and with no radio, television, no cell phone, nothing, walking, more by line. His wife died at 41. He died at 60. And these people have impacted history. We've done tours. I've gone where David Livingstone went.
Pastor, please stay there. Please stay there. Do a few more minutes with us just on other big issues you'd like to relay to the listeners and viewers. It's amazing to have you with us, folks. They are planning a coup against Trump. We must raise the alarm.
We're on the march. The empire's on the run. Alex Jones and the GCN Radio Network.
It's Paul Joseph Watson, and the T-shirt has finally arrived. Nothing triggers safe space snowflakes more than this slogan and my face. It is the new T-shirt from InfoWarsStore.com. Conservatism is the new counterculture. You've seen how much this triggers the safe space snowflakes. The left controls culture. They control arts. They control entertainment. They have the complete monopoly on culture, which is why conservatism is the new counterculture. We are striking back in the culture war. This triggers snowflakes like nothing you've ever seen in your life. You've seen how much they absolutely hate the image of my face and that particular slogan, conservatism is the new counterculture. This T-shirt is not only a conversation starter, it will trigger the holy hell out of leftists. It will make me incredibly happy. It's available right now. Get yours at InfoWarsStore.com.
They use their media to assassinate real news. They use their schools to teach children that their president is another Hitler. They use their movie stars and singers and comedy shows and award shows to repeat their narrative over and over again. And then they use their ex-president to endorse the resistance, all to make them march, make them protest, make them scream racism and sexism and xenophobia and homophobia, to smash windows, burn cars, shut down interstates and airports, bully and terrorize the law-abiding, until the only option left is for the police to do their jobs and stop the madness. And when that happens, they'll use it as an excuse for their outrage. The only way we stop this, the only way we save our country and our freedom is to fight this violence of lies with the clenched fist of truth. I'm the National Rifle Association of America, and I'm freedom's safest place.
After speaking with his military staff, President Trump has banned transgenders from the military, citing disruptions in the service such as structural accommodations and increased costs as the primary reasons. His decision stems from a long-standing controversy over whether the military should provide insurance for soldiers who transition from one gender to another. In other news, President Trump also publicly blasted his Attorney General Jeff Sessions for not replacing acting FBI Director Andrew McCabe, who was at the center of controversy after his wife received $700,000 for her political campaign from Hillary Clinton. McCabe was handling the FBI investigation into Clinton. The president also blasted Sessions on Tuesday for taking, quote, a very weak position on Hillary Clinton crimes. So far, Sessions has focused more on ramping up civil asset forfeiture and prosecuting marijuana users than investigating Hillary Clinton. CNN, however, has launched an investigation into media pioneer Matt Drudge. The founder of the Drudge Report has been spending a lot of time at the White House, which has forced establishment media to not only acknowledge his influence over Trump, but also his role as the progress meter of the Trump agenda and how the Drudge Report represents middle America. If Matt Drudge is concerned about the progress Trump is making, so should the president. This is Kit Daniels with Infowars.com.
You are listening to an Infowars.com frontline report. If you are receiving this transmission, you are the resistance.
Riders on the storm.
Pastor Rodney Howard-Browne is our guest. He'll be gone in about 10 minutes or so. Then we're talking to Jason in Germany, Natalie in Australia, Megan in Wisconsin, Carlos in Canada, Sean in Oklahoma, and others. And we'll continue riding shotgun with Owen Schroyer. Coming up in the fourth hour today, we also have another host, Paul Watson's hosting some of the broadcasts tomorrow as well. I'll be here hosting the main transmission. Pastor Rodney Howard, we have all these callers from Australia, Germany, you name it. This is a worldwide awakening to unelected global government. And I see all the headlines about Trump trying to stop the rule of law and Trump trying to influence his attorney general. They're not doing anything to Hillary. They're not going after any of these big crimes. And they're arrogantly trying to block the election that we just saw. You're a smarter guy than I am in many ways. I mean, I consider and ask questions, but most importantly, what do you want to impart to the listeners and the viewers right now? What I'm getting from you is basically the same thing I'm feeling in my gut, but also intellectually seeing. This is such a critical time. The country and the world's future is on a nice edge. And if we simply speak out and take action and expose what's happening, which is starting to happen, they won't be able to carry out this coup. And we'll also realize the soft coup, all the made-up Russiagate, Dragnetzer frauds, and derail that and continue the move to remove the Democrats and Republican establishment people from power peacefully through the electoral process. My problem is I see the Democrats and Soros and others openly calling for civil war, openly calling for cop killing, openly calling for destabilization. And at a certain point, the president constitutionally needs to move against them. Now, people say, oh, well, that's fascism. No, it's not. If you have a president with rogue global elements trying to cause civil war, trying to call for coups, it's dereliction of all of our duty if we don't do something. So we need to spread the word. We need to expose things. But what else do we need to impart to listeners and viewers and people about what they need to be doing right now?
Well, of course, I carry the message of the gospel of Jesus Christ, because the only way to change everybody is get their heart changed. So that's what we're focusing on 24 hours a day. But then also to mobilize the people once they've given their lives to Christ to be used of God and become his hands and feet and his mouth, and then be mobilized. I believe people need to run for office. People need to get into government. We started actually in Tampa, School of Government, and I've got some people that are going to run 2018, 2020. So we cannot be quiet. We've got to be proactive. If the godly people do nothing, only the wicked will prevail. And this thing it was so far gone. If you understand where the president went into the middle of the biggest swamp ever, And so that's why we have to pray for his protection. That's why we started our prayer initiative. Basically, it's 24/7 prayer around the clock just for the protection of the president so that they don't do anything. I pray over his food. They don't try to poison him or do whatever. Because, here's the problem. These people are wicked. These people are Luciferian. They worship Lucifer at the highest levels. And so what would stop them from collapsing the dollar, plunging America into another Great Depression?
They're already trying.
From an EMP attack on America, knocking out the electrical grid. I'm warned about all these things. So we have to pray. And I know that many people say, it's not going to happen. But it's at critical mass now. If America's an hourglass, the final grains of sand are coming through it. And we have to do something. We've got to do something.
Well, that's why I'm in Hawaii, is because a lot of the elites are moving to Kauai, Zuckerberg and others, and then it's even come out in the newspapers years after. What I learned from my sources is that even though if there's a breakdown in civilization, it'd be hard to get off the island, they're planning such a big, prolonged civil war based on racial issues and other things, they admit they are in the WikiLeaks, that there might be total breakdown in many areas. And I've been looking at Hawaii as a place, if I see the signs, to evacuate my family to, that's still in the United States, then I would stay in Texas. It's that bad that I'm actually having to look at evacuation strategies, and the elites, it's all over the newspaper, are digging in. They're moving here or they're moving to Tasmania. And when you see the globalists themselves building armored redoubts in bunkers right here in Kauai and planning to basically shut this off if the mainland collapses, it lets you know what you just said. These Luciferians started world wars trying to get full control. They will do anything, but as you said, prayer and connecting to God, they hate that because there's strength in it. Why is there so much strength in that?
Because obviously God is the creator of heaven and earth, and when we pray, then God gets involved in the affairs of man. If anybody thinks that it's an accident that President Trump is in the White House and they don't understand the power of God that actually delivered America from a wicked system that was going to be put in place. Can you imagine where we would be if Hillary had got in? Oh, Lord have mercy. I can imagine. Everything.
TPP, carbon taxes, open borders, executive order gun control, restricting free speech. They'd announced it all.
Totally. And then we would have been shut down. Especially me, because I'm very vocal. And I'm not going to be quiet, Alex. I mean, I never have. I was raised as a kid. That's how I was. I always got myself into trouble for opening my mouth. But if I feel something's wrong, I'm going to talk out about it. And that's just the way it is. So I want to say to everybody, if you're watching right now and you're not right with God, surrender your life to him. Say, please use me. God wants to use you. Just like he used Moses to deliver God's people out of Egypt, out of bondage. And Moses only could go once he had that burning bush experience. So you need to have an encounter with God where the fire of God comes on you, burns on the inside of you, and then you go. When you go in his power, it'll be okay. Nothing will go wrong. The Lord will protect you. And then even if it, as in the case of Stephen, when he was stoned to death, then you go to be with the Lord and you would hear these words, well done, thou good and faithful servant, enter thou into the joy of the Lord. So really, if you look at it any which way, we win. We're on the winning side. And as the Bible...
Well, that's my next question is that, and people ask about Trump's spirituality. I just know people that know him very well, and I've talked to him, and he doesn't do this separately with me. He knows, that I'm a Christian. But Trump was raised a Christian. He didn't like fake preachers, the establishment. He's not a hypocrite. But the energy, he feels the spirit when he gets around Christians and evangelicals. That's why he's constantly wanting them around, because it's making his faith that much stronger, and you can feel God's spirit coming back into the world so strong right now. You were just talking about it. I was getting tears in my eyes because the energy is so powerful. I just really feel sorry for these Luciferians and devil worshippers that think they're getting power from their God because, they're not. They have no idea how powerful God is. And it's just such a joke once you have discernment that anybody would choose the devil and not God.
It doesn't even make sense. But the fact of the matter is that, on the inauguration morning, I, along with my wife, my son, my daughter-in-law, and then my son-in-law and daughter, 6 of us, were privileged to be in the private prayer service with 300 other people. right before he would go then to the White House. And Alex, as we were sitting there, as they began to pray, it was like I saw the hand of God come back on America. And I saw them as they had the vice president stand and proclaim over him and pray. And then they said, Mr. President-elect, would you stand? I saw him bow his head. And I said, yes, God is doing a work in our country, that the plague is going to be stayed from off the land. And I believe that there's going to be another great spiritual awakening, like it was in the 1700s with Wesley and Whitfield and Peter Cartwright and Jonathan Edwards, like it was with Charles Finney in the 1800s, that God is going to shake America to the very foundation, the core, from the White House to every house, from sea to shining sea, from Maine to the Keys to San Diego to Seattle, across the great state of Alaska, the Hawaiian chain, even to the island nation of Guam, American Samoa, and Puerto Rico. God is not finished with America, and his hand is on this land. This has been the breadbasket for world missions for decades. Missionaries have been sent out from America to other nations to evangelize.
And that's why the enemy wanted to capture it. And let's expand on that, because they created their fake churches to demonize it, to try to destroy the spirit. But I was there an hour before it started because they were blocking people getting in, as you know, beating them up. And I started tweeting, he's going to announce that, we're accepting God back in. We want the birthright. We want that, and that God's in charge, not men. And I was tweeting it, and after his speech, and an hour and a half later, the New York Times writer came over because he was watching me, and he wrote a piece about it, and he said, how did you tweet that? Did you have advanced the speech? And I said, no. I literally knew what was going to happen, and that the birthright, and that he was going to announce America's Reborn January 20th. And it was the crazy, just like you said, I knew what and I tweeted it. I mean, the proofs, I tweeted tweets saying it, and then it happened, and the enemy was literally just blocks away, howling, screaming, rolling around on the ground, so angry. Why? Because it's spiritual. And then you look at the people that protest, they howl, they scream, they chant, we love Satan. Everywhere I go, their minions aren't even part of satanic cults. Women just start chanting it, and men, and it's like, and I thought first they were trying to freak Christians out, but this is what it's a spirit. And so that was so powerful. Sorry, go ahead.
And even on the Hill, I mean, there's people that go to Bohemian Grove, as you know, and worship an owl. I mean, grown men worshiping an owl and cremating a baby in effigy. I mean, the fact of the matter that this thing goes way back, as you said earlier, even to ancient Egypt. So it's the light and darkness coming against each other, and it's a showdown with Elijah and the prophets of Baal. And so we have to stand up. If you remember the story when Elijah, they built the altar, and he told them, okay, you call on your God to answer by fire. And they cried from the morning till noon. And then they cried until they couldn't cry. They cut themselves with knives. And then Elijah said, okay, let's rebuild the altar. And then he said, the God who answers by fire, let him be God. And he prayed, and the fire came down from heaven. And I just believe with all my heart that the fire of God is upon America. And we're going to see the greatest awakening that's going to hit our universities, our schools, and even places of government. And we're going to see people coming back to God. That this is the final hour, just before Jesus comes, that the greatest harvest of souls is going to come into the kingdom. And I believe this with all my heart. This is what we live for. And the other we'll take care of. But we need to mobilize everybody to shout it from the mountaintops, shout it from the rooftops. We're not going to hide what God does. We're not ashamed of the power of God. The Bible is full of it, miracles, signs, and wonders. And yes, there's other people out there that play with it, but I'm telling you right now, God has heard from heaven, and he's giving us a last-minute reprieve, and we need to do something. And, I'm just going to say this. I know you take a lot of heat and flack, but your voice, just pounding the airwaves all these years, has woken up many people. And, because I meet people that say, we listen to Alex, people get upset because you go over the top, but I go over the top. When you get mad at something, you can't just sit there and talk just calmly. You must come with passion. And so I love your passion. And thank you for talking out and speaking out and shouting it, because there are people that are listening, and people are listening in other countries.
Well, listen, I want to thank you and everybody else, because I know a lot of other pastors, just like you talked about TBN and CBN, others, being scared to put out what you're doing. But I mean, they're now I love how you said it 4 days ago, and then days after they come out and say they're doing it. You know, what you were told is true. They're planning it. We've got to raise the alarm. They're the extremist. I know it sounds extreme to repeat what they're saying they want to do secretly, but they're doing it, so we have to expose it. We're not the radicals. They're the radicals. Pastor, thank you so much for spending time with us. How do folks get in contact with you or watch or listen to your sermons or find out which town you're coming to next?
Just revival.com is our website, and then I have a Rodney R. Brown YouTube channel, and they can follow the link also to our Facebook. We do much Facebook Live, so that's the way to get a hold of us.
All right, Pastor Rodney Howard Brown, please join us again very soon. Thank you, sir.
Anytime, Alex. Bless you.
There you go. Well, that's the kind of folks that, you know, are there meeting with Trump and talking to Trump, and that's what's going on right there. And he goes and meets with the senior congressman for 3 hours saying, yeah, they're getting ready to overthrow the president. Outside of law, that's what's going on. And now, 3 days after the pastor warns of it, Brennan climbs out from under a rock with Clapper at the Aspen Institute on TV to call for the overthrow. Owen Schroyer's here. I want to go to Jason, Natalie, and then who's been on the longest? Carlos. Megan hung up. Megan, sorry, I had that guest come on. So we'll get to your calls right now. But powerful information right there. And again, they tell us, oh, don't be Christian or don't talk about your religion. The globalists are trying to exterminate Christianity worldwide. They're allied with Islam because they hate real Christianity. They hate the spirit of it because it's not this crippling, evil, twisted spirit that they worship.
Well, the truth of the matter is the people that protest Trump don't understand the Trump movement. They've been lied to about the Trump movement. They've been lied to about what President Trump represents. So that's why they pick up their signs and they go protest. I mean, I'm sitting here today. Sarah Huckabee Sanders just gave a press briefing where she said, I'm the first woman that's also a mother to hold the position of the White House press secretary. How dare Donald Trump, the misogynist, put this mother to work? I mean, I can't believe it, standing right there beside Betsy DeVos. So, but they'll pick up their signs and they'll go protest tomorrow, Alex, that Trump is a misogynist, because that's what they do, because that's what the media told them to do. I don't know what President Trump can do to unite America. He's done a good job uniting Christians behind him, obviously. I think the evangelical aspect of America is behind President Trump. But I don't know if there's anything he can possibly do to extend an olive branch.
Well, I'll tell you this, I'm here in Hawaii, and most of the natives I talk to are awake and, understand Trump. People know it's all a scam, where the whole media is demonizing him, that people understand what's going on. Let's go to a phone call. Jason in Germany, thanks for holding. Then Natalie in Australia. Jason, you're on the air.
Hey, Alex, good to be back on with you. Just real quick, the reason why I am here in Germany, aside from marrying the love of my life, is that I did work for the military in the capacity as a civilian for 4 years. I really got to know the families really well and developed a real deep love and appreciation for these people. And I really think that we need to do everything within our power to keep what's developing in the United States from going into some kind of a hot civil war or any other kind of civil emergency, collapse of civilization type of thing. I really do.
Well, these people are so crazy that they're openly trying to start it. And I got to say, Trump needs to just go ahead and cut the cancer out. I mean, they're saying kill everybody, kill cops, murder Trump, kill everybody, shut down free press. We need to just announce it, declare their enemies, and start indicting all of them. We have to move on them right now. And Trump's got the backing now. If he waits, they're gonna kill him.
Yeah, I'd like to know what we can actually do to help them out rather than just making phone calls and protesting.
Well, you need to get a huge buzz going on C-SPAN, talk radio, call Congress, call all over, and just point out the martial law, the fact that they're wanting to kill the president, the fact that they work for multinationals that have hijacked the country. And I think just hammer that truth that they're illegitimate and they're a fraud, that they're trying to block prosperity and freedom and have double-crossed us with radical Orthodox Islam, and that the globalists are trying to collapse Europe and the United States. Europe's probably already lost. So this is World War III, folks. It's a new kind of war, and we've just got to let folks know how high the stakes are, and then we've got to get out there in the news we're about to cover is some of the most powerful, important information I've ever covered. Elite publications like the Financial Times of London, the New Yorker magazine, most importantly, Atlantic Monthly, have all come out with articles that I'm going to be showing you on screen while our guest is on, saying we need to overthrow President Trump, we need to have new elections in our Homeland Security, and take all the Republicans that were elected in 2016 and remove them. They're calling for death, violence. This is insane. So I want to ask Colonel Schaefer, former head of the Bin Laden unit, patriot, with a lot of big connections, helped expose Benghazi, you name it, works with the London Center for Foreign Policy Research, Fox contributor, where we are currently and how serious the situation is. Colonel Schaefer, you're more of an expert on this than even I am. I know that you've worked in some of the most classified areas there are and really head up a lot of things that will never see the light of day for this country. Am I overestimating how serious this is?
No, Alex, thank you for having me on. And no, you're laying that completely correctly. You're essentially outlining the situation based on their own verbiage. And of course, then when they get caught in the open daylight, they then try to say, no, we never said that. It's all about you. The same way the deep state goes about saying the deep state doesn't exist. And as you pointed out, and this is the first time you and I have spoken since what? I don't know how many months ago. Sean Hannity and I haven't spoken. This is all original work by all of us, simply observing what we see and factually analyzing and putting it back out. And my analysis is just a bit different than yours and Sean's. Mine is coming from the perspective of how I've looked at and studied terror organizations and how they go about radicalizing individuals. The way that the left is going about trying to demonize the president, essentially justify and ignore the violence on their side, and then reinforce that with the complete the imagery of death being acceptable. Kathy Griffith using the beheaded image of the president. All these things are the same way ISIS goes about radicalizing and recruiting people to become terrorists. And that is what I'm seeing. I'm seeing a direct correlation, a direct pathology that is the same between ISIS going about isolating individuals, pushing them forward in their cause, reinforcing bad judgment, getting them to accept violence, becoming numb to anything else except their way of thinking. And that's what I'm seeing here. And that's what I'm most frightened about.
They put out the message to billions of people. They know people are going to act. It's like advertising. If you put advertising out to billions of people saying, come eat our hamburgers, they're going to come. Well, if you put out advertising to billions saying, kill Republicans, kill Trump, kill Alex Jones, kill, it's going to happen. All right, I was going to go back to your calls. I am right here. Carlos, Sean, Natalie, and Greg here in just a moment. Owen Schroyer is my guest. I didn't ask who's hosting the fourth hour. Sorry, I'm on quasi-workcation here. We're going to be airing big, Cernovich, he always has big breaking news. He'll know a lot about what's going on with his sources. Roger Stone, direct high-level White House stuff. The stuff you learned yesterday from Roger Stone is directly what's happening. Trump knows they're moving against him, and he just can't believe nobody will stand up. But again, a lot of people want to hedge their bets. People have been so comfortable in D.C., even if they're patriots overall, they're just not folks for action because this country's never faced a bunch of crazy Democrats and offshore banks and Lloyd Blankfein making fun of our infrastructure and saying, I'm moving everything to China, screw you, America, in tweets. It's just these people are such a-holes. I'm sorry, they're just jerks out to get us, man. They're evil. And it just comes down to that. They're allied with everything you can imagine that's bad news. So please financially support us. We got great products everybody needs, so it's a win-win. We're going to end this free shipping this week when the new month starts, and we've never had Super Female for more than 35% off. It's 57% off. That's right at Lost Leader because the Super Male's almost sold out. It's at full price now. Super Female sells decent, but nothing like Super Male, and it works so good in women, and it works in men. The formula is just a little bit different, tailored for women, but it works great for men because we're so similar. So some guys like it better. I, quite frankly, think it's let's just say libido-wise, it's got a little bit more of several of the ingredients that are cold-pressed. Anthroplex is great. It's a dry version of it, but it's 57% off. Silver Bullet, 66% off. Again, never done that. Strawberry Caveman, new flavor. The great bone broth, turmeric, chaga, you name it. Beef pollen, 25% off. Caveman Combo with the chocolate, 25% off too. Super Silver Combo with the electric toothbrush that's got foil silver in it, the silver bullet, and the silver toothpaste, super blue, 50% off. That's amazing. Pro Pure Traveler, 30% off. That's the Alexa Pure Breeze. Air Filter, 25% off. 5 Mineral Fusion, 33% off. Knockout, 50% off. Prostate Guard, 33% off. Myco ZX to the next equation in probiotics for the yeast and stuff. That's 46% off. InfoWarsLife.com or 888-253-3139. And don't forget DNA Force as well. That is selling out. DNA Force, I forgot to tell you, is about to sell out. It may be months until we get more in. It's been sold out for 6 months or 5.5 months. So DNA Force discounted. I don't know, I'm going to discount it next time. So take advantage of that flagship product. Okay, here we go. Let's go to Natalie in Australia. Natalie, thank you for holding so patiently from Australia. I really appreciate that. Go ahead.
Alex, I just want to say a few quick points and then something about nascent iodine. President Trump, could you surround yourself with loyal men like Alan West? He is a great guy. And yes. If you can, arrest Soros for treason. That will cut off most of the money from the left that pays for the protesters and the left in general. And Kitty, my cat, he had, a couple of years ago, he had flames around his eyes, and I gave him nascent iodine, and that gave me 2 more years with him, and I want to thank you for your product, and I think it's a wonderful product. It does work. And, the elite can have Tasmania. That's full of spiders and everything. They can live there all they want. It's a boring place. And just thank you, guys. I know I was going to say something else, but I'm a little nervous, so thank you, guys.
Well, notice how the elite are putting themselves in their own super remote prisons. And it just shows they took over the world, but now they're not safe anywhere. And they want to bring from failed Muslim states tens of millions of people that wipe their butts with their hands, man. I mean, it's like, what level have we reached here of the globalist? And meanwhile, Zuckerberg's trying to move to Kauai. The locals don't want him and are trying to run him out. What do you make of that?
Good on them for standing up for themselves. God bless them all.
Well, Natalie, I want to ask you one question about Australia. So we're back in 70 seconds. Stay there. Don't hang up. Then I'm going to go to Greg, Carlos, Sean, and others. We're going to find out what Cernovich has got. He's always got key intel. Hell, even admitting foreign affairs and stuff that he knows where they eat lunch and what they're doing. They're wondering where he gets his intel. Gee, where do you think? We'll be right back. You guys want to fight? You got one.
Listening to GCN. Visit GCNlive.com today.
Why is the fungus? Why is the mold? Why is the yeast taking over? What is going on? What has changed? Dr. Group, the new product, Myco ZX, supports normal fungal and yeast balanced proprietary blend of herbs and enzymes made with high-quality ingredients.
Yeah, fungus is a growing epidemic, and I've been testing this formula and making changes to this formula for over 10 years.
It's available at InfoWarsStore.com. We also have free shipping, orders $50 or more, and 10% off when you sign up for auto ship. Additionally, on top of that, please, we only have a limited supply of this. I want to get your reviews. I want to hear what you have to say. For me, it's been incredible. Myco ZX, antifungal, antifungus, anti-yeast. Get it today. Limited run. It'll be months till we get more. InfoWarsStore.com, InfoWarsLife.com, or 888-253-3139. I cannot sell something unless it helps somebody. And you can't support an organization that isn't fighting hard. Look at the response we're getting. We're changing the world together. You are the InfoWar. God bless you all.
Leading a frontal assault on the lies of the New World Order, it's Alex Jones. Waging war on corruption, it's Alex Jones, coming to you live from the front lines of the InfoWar.
All right, Natalie's in Australia. Natalie, I know you're new Prime Minister and perfect or whatever, but I know you guys started cutting back your carbon taxes, reportedly not just completely flooding your country with folks that want to assimilate. I mean, how would you say, as an Australian overall, the awakening is happening there? Because it looks like you guys have turned the corner a little bit, or am I wrong?
Well, my dad was complaining about $1 billion power plant that was created, and it was created not by getting permission from the Australian people, but people are awake, and they do speak their mind, and that's just to put it nicely. And yeah, we are aware. So,
well, that's good, because all over the world there's awakenings happening. And again, we're not saying Trump's the end all be all. He's just trying to return power back to the people, and they're panicking. I'm just concerned because I don't think the globalists realize they're in trouble, but they're still arrogant, and they still keep doing stuff and failing as they escalate. And then now all they've got left is killing Trump. And I don't see, Brennan's up there saying, let's all be nice once this happens and just nobody resist. Let's not tear up the country. What does he think's going to happen? I mean, he's crazy. What do you think?
Well, all I know is without America, Australia would not be in a good situation with China or anything like that. Because I've heard stories before, like people in the army and that China would love Australia. So America, stay strong.
Oh, hell, China's already got almost all, exactly. The big companies have come in with their basically military labor, and they do like most of your mining now. It's amazing. Thank you so much, Natalie. We're going to come back and talk a little bit with Cernovich and get to Carlos, Sean, Greg, and others. Cernovich loves taking calls. 800-259-9231. 800-259-9231. We'll talk about implementing COG with Sean. Carlos, Clapper lied to Congress. Yeah, we've got the clip. We ought to pull it up. Greg, we need for prayer. And then also I want to play the compilation again of all the talk of martial law and coup. The good news is we exposed it. Now they're having to admit it. Because see, they don't want us to expose it and have a consensus it's wrong. They're being forced to admit they're planning it now because we're exposing it. And I told you, the victory is getting everybody to talk about it. You did that, listeners. Now it's everywhere in Congress, Rush Limbaugh, Sean Hannity, everywhere. We forced it through again. You did it. You get the credit. God bless you. Owen Schroyer, comments on what we've been doing.
Well, we're trying to change the narrative, Alex. We're the media now. I mean, people want to look at you and they want to say Alex Jones is crazy. They want to make fun of you on Comedy Central. But the truth is, that's their psychological reaction of denial. They can't accept the fact that you can control the narrative now. They can't accept the fact that InfoWarriors can control the narrative, that InfoWarriors can decide the results of a presidential election. That scares them. They're in denial of that. So they point at you, they laugh, and ultimately they're only going to hurt themselves because instead of trying to recapture the hearts and minds of America that you've stolen from them, that they stole originally, they're just trying to point and laugh at you. So that's fine. They can point and laugh at you. We're going to continue to change hearts and minds, and we're going to continue to get our agenda through. And it's tough for Donald Trump. I think that he's dealing with people that maybe they're scared, maybe they're getting death threatened right now. But I think
they're in the news saying kill his cabinet. I mean, the death threats are a given.
I'll be interested to hear what Mike Cernovich wants to talk about here coming up in just a couple minutes, especially considering all of the double standards that we're seeing out of liberals. It's hilarious. They don't care about Boy Scouts or the military until Trump actually does something about it. Now all of a sudden they care about the Boy Scouts. Now all of a sudden they care about the military. You've got the Obamacare.
Well, now they're calling the Boy Scouts racist and fascist. I mean, it's total race-baiting garbage. They're a total joke. And the good news is they're so arrogant, they're keeping Pelosi and Schumer and Hillary as the leadership.
And look at Pelosi.
We're going to go to break.
Alex, look at Pelosi. She said she's never heard of Imran Awan. This woman lied. Said she never heard of Imran Awan. He handled her iPad. It was in the WikiLeaks. This woman is a known liar.
Oh, really? Nancy Pelosi's a liar? Owen Schroyer, I tell you. We'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Alex Jones, Infowars.com. And Mike Cernovich is coming up with your phone calls and more. Stay with us.
Vitamin Mineral Fusion. Visit InfoWarsLife.com to secure your canister. We have worked for years with our chemists and scientists to create the most powerful and affordable, great-tasting multivitamin formula available. Vitamin Mineral Fusion Drink Mix at InfoWarsLife.com is loaded with a full month's supply of essential vitamins, minerals, and amino acids that your body absolutely needs. In the history of InfoWars Life, we've brought out a lot of amazing products like Survival Shield X2, Super Male Vitality, and so many others. With its unique delivery system and proprietary manufacturing process designed for maximized effects, this formula is the platinum standard of multivitamin mineral products. And this part is most important. The ingredients in Vitamin Mineral Fusion are either plant-derived or of the highest quality lab standard. That means it's clean. That means it's pure. And rest assured, you're fighting the tip of the spear in the info war. That's InfoWarsLife.com and Vitamin Mineral Fusion. Take action now before we sell out.
I'm Millie Weaver, and you're watching Flyover America, an InfoWars original series, where we're going to be traveling around the United States talking to Flyover America, the people who feel like they have had their voices ignored by their government, by the mainstream media, and by the people on the coast. So we're going to be talking to the deplorables, finding out why they actually supported Trump. So come along with us on this journey as we discover Flyover America. Throughout our travels, we will be making scheduled stops to talk with those who want to tell their story. Like us and follow our progress on Facebook at Flyover States of America for meeting locations, updates, and even sneak peeks. And if you have a story to tell, come tell it. I'm Millie Weaver, and you're watching Flyover America.
They use their media to assassinate real news. They use their schools to teach children that their president is another Hitler. They use their movie stars and singers and comedy shows and award shows to repeat their narrative over and over again. And then they use their ex-president to endorse the resistance, all to make them march, make them protest, make them scream racism and sexism and xenophobia and homophobia, to smash windows, burn cars, shut down interstates and airports, bully and terrorize the law-abiding, until the only option left is for the police to do their jobs and stop the madness. And when that happens, they'll use it as an excuse for their outrage. The only way we stop this, the only way we save our country and our freedom, is to fight this violence of lies with the clenched fist of truth. I'm the National Rifle Association of America, and I'm freedom's safest place.
Yeah.
Rallying patriots worldwide in defense of human liberty. It's Alex Jones.
I'm gonna steal me a silver stallion.
Ladies and gentlemen, wanted to hand the baton to the one, the only Mike Cernovich, who coming up in early September is going to start hosting his own transmission with, of course, Owen Schroyer. That is coming up. That kicks off in early September, but here he is once a week hosting an hour. I want to just get out of here and let him take over. I know we've got Carlos in Canada and Greg in Montana and Sean wants to talk about implementing COG from Oklahoma. Carol in Florida wants to talk about coup and the Senate Bill 722. Dr. Kelly, California, wants to talk about Senator and Congress. He's listening on 1490 AM, KOWI, or L. We got 2 affiliates there. That's in Santa Cruz. We got like 7 and 9. We got more. I think it's like 10 affiliates down in California. Show's really growing out there, so that's a blessing. Too bad the globalists have pretty much completely taken over California, but who knows? Just like the White House, maybe we can take it back. But going back now to the main issue, we have a major pastor coming out who met with Trump and met with senior members of Congress saying they've been told of a plan for martial law. Well, that's already in the news. Then we have Brennan coming out yesterday at the Aspen Institute with Clapper, former head of all intelligence, of the national security system, and then we've got Blitzer on there saying, well, you got to impeach him, right? He goes, no, we'll just remove him. A coup. So this is huge now to have them admit all this with a new Comedy Central show announced to come on after their main news program every day, built around, quote, Alex Jones. And the comedian says he's going to play Alex Jones. And what that means is dress up in KK outfits and stuff and say things I never said, KKK stuff. And that's what they already do. Or just say outrageous stuff. And then say that's what Alex Jones does, then point at me and laugh at the straw man, which is great. That'll just send us more listeners that actually find out what we're actually doing. But they know that actually gets them ratings, just imitating us and then twisting it. So they plan to destroy who we are by posing as us and then going out and committing cultural crimes while hiding behind the thing that they're just actors, they're just comedians with a bunch of writers in New York City and L.A. sitting there writing garbage to then put it into an actor's mouth who's posing as a fake newsman who's posing as me. So Tuck Buckford wasn't enough. Now you're going to get 5 nights a week attacking yours truly, and they even admit It's supposed to be Alex Jones. So it's not enough to have all these movies they've made and Homeland and all these shows. Now, I'm so evil, I've got to be demonized nightly on a rated Comedy Central show because nobody watches the news anymore. Nobody watches mainstream news. So now they're going totally to comedy. And you go to CNN, most of the videos you see on there many times are Saturday Night Live or Colbert, again, misrepresenting. Remember Alec Baldwin? I don't like black people. I'm Donald Trump. I learned to be racist from Alex Jones. InfoWars, it's a show. I learned it from him. We're racist. Black people aren't humans. I mean, I never said that. Alec Baldwin played Trump and then said, Alex Jones told me. Alex Jones told me. And then that's the new thing. It shows the desperateness of these people. But it's better. Google, Facebook, Twitter start to censor us, start to block us, start to try to stop you from getting our information and admit they are. And Cernovich gets the secret documents and Google admits they're real, where they spent millions hiring people to delist us on Google. But when they got exposed, we went back to the top because Google had to pull it because it's racketeering. It's criminal. It's a trust operation. It's a monopoly operation. They've just been fined hundreds of millions for that. So they attacked us. We fought back. They had to back off. But it's happening. But Google isn't half as bad as Facebook or Twitter. And they go, oh, well, that's their own platforms. No, they advertise it as open for political discussion. Then they censor us. Then they have bots going around acting like they're liberals, attacking everybody to make us feel demoralized and alone. It's a hoax. But again, they want to silence us, then build facsimiles of who we are, then build straw men, and then demonize the straw man in the public. Gag the real person. The body snatcher gets rid of the real person before it copies itself. Okay? Well, that's not happening. They created Glenn Beck to doppelgang. Didn't work. He went down, not me, because you couldn't get rid of me. So thanks for the prayers. Thanks for the support. It's all of you making this possible. But your investment spreading the word at InfoWars, your investment supporting us, your investment defending us, your investment getting past the peer pressure and the mind control is delivering with President Trump, delivering in the huge Freedom Caucus, close to taking over the House from the Republicans. We've taken it from the Democrats. Now in 2018, we're going to take it from the neocons and the rhinos. We're this close to really restoring the Republic and having a true future. Thanks to all of you. So stop thinking me. Stop thinking Cernovich. We're in this with you. It's a fight. We know the enemy hates us. What do you expect us to do? Roll over to a bunch of scum that hate our guts and want to make us slaves? Okay, this is normal behavior. They take normal behavior and make it look weird. Let them have a bunch of Comedy Central. We're not in third grade where you laugh at somebody and they go cry to mommy. We love scum hating us. We love scum attacking us. We love it. We absolutely love it, ladies and gentlemen. And we're done playing games, and we're not backing down, so that's the end of it. But we've got free shipping until the end of the month. Just a few days left, 4 or 5 days left. And we've got 57% off of Super Female Vitality. Never done that. Silver Bullet, 66% off. Never done that, because I just want everybody to have this and try it. Caveman, strawberries in, 25% off. 25% off on the chocolate. Caveman bone broth. Silver special package with the electric toothbrush impregnated with silver, the colloidal silver bullet, and the toothpaste super blue, fluoride free with iodine and colloidal silver. That's 50% off. Pro Pure, amazing traveler, gravity fed, blows away much of the competition. The very best is Pro Pure and Alexa Pure. They're apples and oranges, but all the other stuff's nothing compared to those. It's the best unit. 30% off, $132. People are selling other stainless steel systems for $250 that are basically aren't even as good as this unit. $132. Nobody can top it. Pro Pure Traveler, Alexa Pure Breeze, $219. It's a great deal. Comparable stuff's $400 to $600. The price has gone down. It used to be like $800 for comparable just a few years ago. It's $149. Nobody can top that. Vitamin Mineral Fusion, 33% off. Knockout, 50% off. Prostiguard, 33% off. Myco ZX, 46% off. DNA Force selling out. That's 20% off. InfoWarsLife.com or 888-253-3139. Take advantage of it all. Support the broadcast. Mike Cernovich, thank you for hosting. We're going to skip this break so you have more time here, and we're going to skip the break at the 50 so you get back the 6-7 minutes I've taken from you. We salute your work. I've seen your reach on Facebook go from 10 million a week to 35 million a week. despite the fact they're trying to censor you. That's on Facebook, what we do every week now. So we want to salute Mike Cernovich and all the work he's doing. To see your explosion is absolutely vitriolic. So we salute you, Mike Cernovich. Might take over, but what do you make of the open martial law coup plans? We forced it out in the open. Another devastating blow to the enemy. They can't organize it in secret anymore. We've savaged them, Cernovich, and we're going to push their timetable up, and they're going to make a move, and they're going to fail. We're going to arrest all of their asses. And after they're absolutely convicted, we're going to hang their asses high. Mike Cernovich, take over.
Yeah, I mean, it's an amazing time, Alex. We always have a lot of great news. Of course, Scaramucci, as I said, and as you said, it has been a tremendous asset already to the Trump administration. He went on the record today contradicting H.R. McMaster and admitted what we knew, which is that McMaster has Obama holdovers. The Obama holdovers are leaking to the media. So if you'll remember, this is a very, very important development, and I'll explain why. Scaramucci, or Mooch, as people affectionately refer to him as, who's a self-made billionaire, by the way, and yet people, of course, hate on him. They hate success. It's amazing. So he went on today and said that the Obama holdovers are leaking to the media. Well, if you go back a week or two ago, H.R. McMaster held a town hall meeting, and this is proof. Eli Lake and Bloomberg said it, therefore it has to be true, because as you know, I mean, if you and I say it isn't true, but if Bloomberg, if it's the Bloomberg, then it must be true, because even though it takes them weeks to catch up to us, McMaster held a town hall where he said there's no such thing as an Obama holdover. So today, this is a very subtle thing. Very few people understand this, and almost nobody in the media does, because they don't have my information and my sources and everything. This is a sign that they know McMaster is a problem. McMaster is definitely on his way out. So McMaster had held a town hall to address Mike Cernovich's tweets. This is a fact. I didn't make this up. People go, oh, Cernovich, you self-promote or whatever. This is Eli Lake, who went on to a podcast and called me a conspiracy theorist. So Eli Lake is definitely not a friend of mine. He's not trying to do me any favors. And he said that at a town hall, H.R. McMaster said there's no such thing as an Obama holdover. What a joke, right? So here's the latest news on McMaster. As of, this is breaking news. Nobody has this yet. Nobody knows this. This is an InfoWars exclusive. You're only going to get that information here with me. McMaster is bringing in two people who worked for, I kid you not, Ben Rhodes. McMaster is bringing in two holdovers from the Obama administration, two political appointees, two Ben Rhodes loyalists into the NSD. That's what H.R. McMaster is doing. And fortunately, Sean Spicer loved it. Sean Spicer leaked to the media all the time. That's something that I had never made public before, because then, he would try to blacklist me from coming to the White House press briefings and everything. So I had to be careful with Spicer. Thank God that he's out now. I can actually tell the truth about what an incompetent guy that was, and how he was sabotaging the administration, how he's leaking the media, how he and Reince Priebus they killed the war room idea. A lot of people didn't know this, but there was going to be a war room with actual heavy hitters getting content out, getting the media message out. Spicer, Reince, McMaster, a few other people within the comms team, they killed the war room. They said, oh, you're going to politicize the community. I kid you not. I kid you not. This is why they killed the war room. They go, you'll be politicizing the communications team. These are the incompetent or the saboteurs or the snakes. It doesn't even matter at this point. These are the kind of people Trump has to deal with, where they're saying, well, we wouldn't want our communications department and the most beleaguered and attacked administration in U.S. history to actually have a message, to actually have a rapid response team, to actually focus on getting out content. That would be politicizing the communications department, and we should never put... Who are these people, and how did they get in? And that guy, Michael Short, who just got fired, and then he goes, well, I quit. So actually, another funny story, too, there is Mooch leaked out that he was going to fire Short as a karma. It was like karmic retribution. So Short had been leaking, so Mooch leaked out that he was going to fire Short. So then Short found out that he was going to be fired when he opened up Politico, when people were texting him the article that he was going to get fired. It's the same way that Trump fired this gangster, the way Trump fired Comey was giving a talk, at the FBI and it flashes on Fox News. This is how you have to deal with these people. You're dealing with criminals like James Comey and the communications department. They're going to treat these people the way you treat people like that. You just end it. One day they show up and the key doesn't work. One day they show up to work and they get a Google alert for their name and they see Politico is reporting that they're going to be fired. That's what you have to do with all these people. We got to get Reince Priebus out of there. We definitely... It's a good start, though. So Mooch knows what he's doing. He knows that McMaster is leaking and hiring leakers. And we know that Lindsey Graham is anti-Trump. And Virginia Boney, which is exclusive again for me, another leaker that we identified. So we're getting them. There's big progress. And that is why when they said Scaramucci was going to be head of comms, I was through the roof. I was so hyped. And then a lot of people, well, how could you like him? You know, he's rich. And I'm like, what is wrong with people? Are they brainwashed zombies? Nobody hates rich people. They hate thieves like Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton didn't get rich by providing entrepreneurial value to the world. Bill Clinton didn't become rich by providing entrepreneurial value to the world. Barack Obama is not becoming rich by giving value to the world. These are not intellectuals. They aren't job creators. What they do is they use their influence and their positions and their power for corruption. That is what they do. So we have no problem with people actually make, like if Goldman Sachs hadn't ripped people off in the stock market crash, I'd have no problem with Goldman Sachs. But as we know, they stole from the American public, they looted the public, and they destroyed a lot of lives. And they'd better hope the stock market stays up because it isn't going to be good for them if they crash the market again or they're too reckless again. It'll be bad. So we have great developments with Scaramucci. Finally, we have somebody in the White House who knows how to get a message out. Now, Scaramucci, too, the media loves him because he knows how to handle the media. So Mooch is a rare guy that can play both games, right? So I'm really good at one game. I'm really good at the social media game, direct to consumers, direct to readers, direct to viewers. So right now, of course, I'm live on the Real Alex Jones Show, which is amazing. They're running YouTube Live. They're running Periscope. They're on radio, terrestrial radio all over the world. I'm right now on Facebook Live with one phone. My Periscope is live on another iPad. I need to get another camera set up so I can do YouTube Live. So I'm really good at reaching massive amounts of people directly, bypassing the media. But I'm not good at playing the traditional media game. And I'm getting better at it. Mooch is good at both. He knows how to reach the people, and he knows how to work with the traditional media people. So he's the rare talent, a once-in-a-generation media talent. So Mooch, he's in there, and now there's finally Periscoping, right? That was a historic moment. They Periscope President Trump and Air Force One. We need more of that. We need fireside chats. We need the multiple computers, phones, webcams, whatever you want to call it, streaming live. They're getting there, and they're trying. We have incredible momentum right now. Scaramucci even said that. Momentum. Trump referenced momentum. See, how many people understand this and can connect these dots the way I can? They don't read books. They've never read The Art of the Deal. They've never read Trump's book, Think Big and Kick. We'll call it Butt because I think we're on the radio. We'll keep it family friendly. They don't know anything. They don't actually study his work. And there's incredible momentum right now, and both Trump and Scaramucci are momentum players. I actually got a message from the highest levels today. I can't say from who, obviously, but the highest level said, let your people know today, because they knew I was going on Alex Jones. They saw that. They monitor my Twitter religiously. McMaster does, too. He reads it personally, and he doesn't like it. People overheard him screaming today about Cernovich's tweets. They literally... if the media really told the truth, they don't tell the truth about Mike Cernovich, though, because they don't want me to look more influential as I actually am. They don't want to tell the truth about how much impact that we're having because they're trying to get me banned and everything. They'd rather do hit jobs. McMaster was heard screaming at the West Wing about Cernovich's tweets. Effing tweets, screaming. So McMaster is mad because I revealed that Mooch directly contradicted him. So Mooch went on Fox News today and said Obama holdovers are the leakers. But McMaster had said a week or two ago that there's no such thing as an Obama holdover. Now, the fake news media, because they're not intelligent people, and they have goldfish memories, right? All they care, Trump tweeted something today, let's forget everything happened. But I'm always a strategic player. And as a strategic player, I'm always thinking, well, what happened today and how does this move work with the other pieces on the board? So what Mooch did today was significant. What Mooch did was said, look, we know McMaster is the bad guy. We know he wants to bring in people who work for Ben Rhodes. We know who the leakers are in HR. He better get his act together or he'll be out. And we're on his tail. So he's triggered. I've heard multiple, 10, 15, 20 people have told me that McMaster actually has a personal vendetta against me because I'm cyberbullying. He said I'm a bully. And you know who I'm bullying? You can't make this up. You can't make it up. I got to just pause and take a deep breath because it sounds so absurd, and yet it is not. It is true. Do you know who I'm bullying? I'm bullying deep state. I kid you not. They said that it is unfair for me to target people in the CIA, people who are at the highest levels of government, people who are at the highest levels of intelligence. They said it's unfair for me to target them. They've been spying on us. They've been spying on us for decades. But when I publicly talk about what they're doing and how they're leaking and everything, then I'm just a big bully. And the media goes along with it. They're going, in foreign policy, oh yeah, Cernovich is being mean to these people. I mean, how do you bully a 3-star general? That's what I would like to know. How do you bully a 3-star general, a veteran of multiple... If McMaster isn't strong enough for me, if he's shook, maybe he should read Guerrilla Mindset or go to one of my seminars and learn how to check into the present moment, learn how to not be rattled and shook up all the time. Maybe he needs a mindset stuff. Maybe I should do a Guerrilla Mindset training seminar I actually should, and now that I think about it. McMaster, I know you're watching, buddy. I know you watch everything we do. I know what you're doing. You think you spy on me? That's what you think. I'll come in and give you a Guerrilla Mindset seminar. And I'll give you all the secrets. And then what will happen is you'll no longer be a puppet for the globalists. You'll no longer be a puppet for the warmongers. You'll actually want to make the world a better place because you'll believe in yourself and you'll find inner peace and happiness and love and joy in your own heart. And then you're going to want to spread that into the world instead of trying to spread more chaos and destruction and murder to the world. McMaster also, too, nobody else had this before me, presented his plan for the Afghan troop surge. So there was a principals meeting today, or it was scheduled for today. These things get moved often. McMaster is still trying to get his troop surge going on. He really wants more troops in Afghanistan. He won't let it drop. Trump is very frustrated with him. So we got to keep the heat on McMaster. We got to keep the heat on. Share the links about McMaster. Get the message out about McMaster. Ben Rhodes should not be in the NSC. Ben Rhodes, actually, let's talk about Ben Rhodes in this next segment. He testified before the Senate, and that never got leaked. So we're going to go on break right now. The next segment, we're going to talk about Ben Rhodes, McMaster, and how Soros is controlling McMaster and its own McMaster. We'll be back the next segment.
We're on the march. The empire's on the run. Alex Jones and the GCN Radio Network.
It's Paul Joseph Watson, and the T-shirt has finally arrived. Nothing triggers safe space snowflakes more than this slogan and my face. It is the new T-shirt from InfoWarsStore.com. Conservatism is the new counterculture. You've seen how much this triggers the safe space snowflakes. The left controls culture. They control arts. They control entertainment. They have the complete monopoly on culture, which is why conservatism is the new counterculture. We are striking back in the culture war. This triggers snowflakes like nothing you've ever seen in your life. You've seen how much they absolutely hate The image of my face and that particular slogan, conservatism is the new counterculture. This t-shirt is not only a conversation starter, it will trigger the holy hell out of leftists. It will make me incredibly happy. It's available right now. Get yours at InfoWarsStore.com.
After speaking with his military staff, President Trump has banned transgenders from the military, citing disruptions in the service such as structural accommodations and increased costs as the primary reasons. His decision stems from a long-standing controversy over whether the military should provide insurance for soldiers to transition from one gender to another. In other news, President Trump also publicly blasted his Attorney General Jeff Sessions for not replacing acting FBI Director Andrew McCabe, who was at the center of controversy after his wife received $700,000 for her political campaign from Hillary Clinton. McCabe was handling the FBI investigation into Clinton. The president also blasted Sessions on Tuesday for taking, quote, a very weak position on Hillary Clinton crimes. So far, Sessions has focused more on ramping up civil asset forfeiture and prosecuting marijuana users than investigating Hillary Clinton. CNN, however, has launched an investigation into media pioneer Matt Drudge. The founder of the Drudge Report has been spending a lot of time at the White House, which has forced establishment media to not only acknowledge his influence over Trump, but also his role as the progress meter of the Trump agenda and how the Drudge Report represents middle America. If Matt Drudge is concerned about the progress Trump is making, so should the president. This is Kit Daniels with Infowars.com.
Clean, pure drinking water. You can't survive without it. But where do you get it? Alexa Pure Pro is a brand new, groundbreaking, gravity-fed water filtration system that is like no other. The Alexa Pure Pro transforms water from virtually any fresh source into clean, healthy drinking water, pairing the unprecedented superfiltration power of an all-new gravity block core with a hybrid chromatic shell. It removes up to 99.999% of impurities, including bacteria, viruses, fluoride, disinfectants, volatile organic contaminants, and hormones. Filter capacity up to 5,000 gallons. Stainless steel construction, easy assembly, low maintenance. Replacement filters are simple to install. And now, as part of an exclusive limited time introductory offer, you can save $20 off the retail price and get free shipping. This is a limited time offer, so order your unit today and receive free shipping and $20 off. Go to InfoWarsStore.com or call 888-253-3139. Healthy gums and teeth.
News, analysis, reports. It's the Alex Jones Show. And now, your host, Mike Cernovich.
Thanks for joining me back, everybody. If you're watching on Facebook Live, be sure to hit that like button and spread and share the links for all the Facebook Live viewers out there. Get those links out. Get the like button. Let's get this trending. So let's talk about Ben Rhodes for a minute. And I sent a couple links to the production team, so they're so great, they'll pull that up. Ben Rhodes, he worked for Obama, lied to reporters. He actually was quoted on the record as saying that I can convince a 26-year-old at the Washington Post of anything. So he's an admitted liar, and he admitted that he conned them. But if you work at the Washington Post, you don't actually care if they lie to you. All you care about is harming freedom and harming liberty and harming the people who want to help. So for 8 years, Obama and Ben Rhodes said they had secret talks with Iran. We never heard about it. How is it that they were able to keep the Iran deal secret? Think about, again, let's connect some dots and let's talk about McMaster and why McMaster is right now the number one greatest threat to national security in America is H.R. McMaster. You can quote that, you can tweet it out, you can clip that, the video footage. The number one threat to national security in the United States of America is H.R. McMaster. Quote me on that. So McMaster has leaks every day coming out from Ben Rhodes' people. But there were no leaks about the Iran deal during the Obama administration. Ben Rhodes wasn't leaking anything. So what does that tell you? Well, Ben Rhodes testified before the Senate committee either yesterday or the day before that. Isn't that amazing that was never leaked? Isn't it amazing that nobody had advanced knowledge? The House Intelligence Committee met with Ben Rhodes. Nobody had that story. You know why? Favor trading. What they do is if you get a leak from Ben Rhodes or Ben Rhodes' people, it's like a code of silence. And that really goes to show you how corrupt the fake news media is, that there's this major code of silence, that they're going to protect Rhodes at all costs. So then the question would be, why does H.R. McMaster want to bring in two political appointees from the Obama administration who worked for Ben Rhodes? Because McMaster wants information leaked. He wants their national security secrets leaked. He wants to do anything he can to harm Trump. Because who owns McMaster? Soros. George Soros, McMaster, Petraeus had a secret meeting at Bilderberg. I bet you nobody has that story yet. See, I have so many scoops out there that I just release them on air all the time. I don't even have time to write them all up. If I wrote up everything I knew, I wouldn't have any fingers left because I would be typing all day and my hands will quit working. There's so much to talk about all the time. That's how bad McMaster is and why we really have to get McMaster. We have to fire him. But we're going to take some calls. Carlos has been on the line for 2 hours. I know Alex. I'll hold him to this. Alex says if you're on hold for longer than an hour, you get a free T-shirt. So Carlos, even though I'm not the boss, that's the truth.
Carlos twisting up.
Oh, okay. Sorry, Carlos. That's a bummer. So we'll take the next caller here. I don't have the screen right up right now, so we'll take Sean. How you doing, Sean?
I'm great. How are you?
Doing well.
I was wanting to talk about the implementation of COG. I believe that plan is still moving forward. I don't think they ever dropped it.
What plan?
Hillary was the plan to implement COG.
Okay, I don't know what Hillary is that an acronym? I'm not really sure what that acronym is.
To bring the deep state in the state of emergency.
Gotcha. Bring in the deep state.
I believe that Hillary was a patsy candidate. Because if you notice about Hillary's health right now, she's always on the verge of grim death, but she's not fumbling around dying every 2 seconds. And so I believe that they were possibly poisoning her, using her for a patsy to win the presidency, get in there, open the borders, use some executive orders, take the guns, and then they were going to kill her. And then have the martial law implemented because they had that from day one. I believe Trump getting in threw a wrench in there, and at first, they were in denial, that's not my president, and then after denial is frenzy, and then that's where you see the rioting and everything, and now I believe that they're trying they're getting their bearings back, and they're trying to re-implement the plan. If you notice, because he is completely enveloped, and I think that everyone, even like Jeff Sessions, who's been just totally weak on everything except for TPP, if you take away TPP, he looks like a Democrat. And I think that right now everyone should be really worried because even these people that Trump put in, they're still getting pulled over to the other side. I think that Pence, where has he been? No one's heard anything about Pence pretty much since they won the presidency. And so I kind of believe that he's just kind of hiding in the background to see what's going to happen. I really believe now that their plan is to try to assassinate Trump and carry out some form of false flag here on the state, and then implement martial law, which will open the door to bring in deep state. And once that happens, we're not going to get out from underneath of it. And then all hell's going to break loose. And the only way we're going to get out of it is not going to be pretty.
Thanks for your call, sir. Okay, we have another caller. Carol, it looks like. Carol?
Carol. Hi.
Hey, how are you?
Amazed. I'm online.
Welcome.
Thank you. I am not sure this is true, but from what little I've looked at it, it seems very important. The coup of President Trump may be taking action by legislation. They have passed in the Senate, apparently not in the Congress, in the House yet, Senate Bill 722. And, you know, in bills that they can name them one thing and have a lot of information, but they can add other stuff. The title of Senate Bill 722 is Countering Iran's Destabilization Activities Act of 2017. But in Title II portion of it, which is lots of words down, it also apparently takes over control of sanctions of Russia and takes over control of what the president can do by legislation. I need help with that. I'm not saying it's true, absolutely. Just from what I've looked at, it looks very possible that while we're all excited about this other stuff, that the Congress may pass a bill that takes over a whole bunch of powers of President Trump by passing the bill. That's what, like, an 8-minute summary by Anonymous suggested, so I went and looked up the bill. And I'm looking at the legal parts of the bill going, you know, lots of words and lots of legalese, so I'm not sure, but it's already passed the Senate, and Anonymous was saying that it passed like 98-2, and so the House and the Senate may be taking things over by passing a law.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, we'll definitely look into it. Thank you again for your call. Always good to hear from you. Thanks, Carol. Okay, yeah, I appreciate the call. Yeah, we'll take the next caller. We'll take a few more. Yeah, that one, it's just a sanctions bill, so I don't know. I mean, a lot of things get spun way out of proportion. A sanctions bill was passed as bipartisan. I don't think it's a good idea. These sanctions never really work. But a lot of times people read way more into that stuff than it really is. It isn't stripping Trump of any of his presidency. I guess in theory, you're taking away some of his executive powers. It's a separation of powers issue. But there's a lot of hysteria, and unless I have a lot of evidence supporting it, I definitely I don't like to feed into that. Greg from Montana, how you doing?
Much for taking my call. I was prompted to call by the pastor who was on with Alex, and he was talking a lot about prayer and the need for prayer. And one of the things that I would like to throw out there for everyone who might be open to this is the idea of many, many people in all parts of the country and maybe other parts of the world getting together to do the Psalms. This was done in early colonial times by the Pilgrims, the Puritans, and up into Revolutionary times. People would get together in churches and recite the Psalms. And I think probably the King James Version would be the best for people to use because it's most widely accepted. Catholics could accept it, even perhaps many of the spiritually minded Jews. And people could come together in small groups, in churches, even in stadiums, and over the internet and do this. The pastor was talking about his 24-hour prayer services for the president and the country. And this is one way where people could come together and recite the Psalms aloud in unison. And when people do this, if you've ever experienced anything where you feel a lot of powerful spiritual energy, this does it. It's amazing. And people need to try it, even coming together in small groups, just prayer groups. We're 99% in a spiritual war. There is an information war, but we're in a spiritual war. That is the primary thing that we're dealing with. As the Bible says, you wrestle not with flesh and blood, but with powers and principalities. And that's what we're dealing with at the ultimate level. All of the people that we see are simply pawns for spiritual forces. And the way that this has been dealt with since time immemorial is with prayer and fasting. And one of the reasons for the Psalms is that they're the most widely accepted thing that is divinely inspired. And so I just throw out the idea of Psalms over America, and people could, take that and run with it. But this is something that I think the pastor could be a great force for putting out there, is that people of all faiths could come together and give these Psalms, Protestants, Catholics, and even Jews, and we would have a united force for saving this nation. It has to be done first and foremost at a spiritual level. It's not going to be done just with information. Information is very important, but the spiritual component of this is primo. It's the number one thing we have to do.
Gotcha. Thank you so much for your call. So the caller does raise an interesting point, which is that America is spiritually bankrupt. Whatever your religion is, most people in America have no philosophical mooring, no worldview. It's very much fake, hedonistic culture. And if you look at the Psalms and the Proverbs, I've told people, even if you have no religion, you should read something like the Proverbs, because that is wisdom, timeless wisdom, that talks about avoiding trouble, avoiding drama, avoiding the evil, avoiding the wicked. And there isn't any wisdom like that coming down these days. I would say, think about it like this. There used to be the concept of this archetype of the old wise man. How many old wise men are there out there, right? How many people are there who are wise and you're going to turn to for advice, turn to for insight? It's very rare these days, because everybody wants to live this culture of eternal youth and eternal partying and eternal hedonism. It's a very sad thing. So the caller's right. Whatever your religion is, even if you're not religious, you can engage in secular practices like just being mindful, being present, mindset training, meditation, a lot of things. I totally agree with that caller. There needs to be something. And if you are Christians, the Psalms Across America sounds like a great idea to me. You should definitely be meeting in prayer groups and meeting in larger events. So the caller had said it was called Psalms Across America. This is an interesting concept. Somebody should run with that. That's the thing. A lot of people come up with ideas, but then they don't want to take ownership and responsibility. And that relates to the spiritual bankruptcy in America, the lack of leadership. People go, Mike, do this, do that, do this, do that, do that. And they'll give me like 15 different. I'm like, what are you doing? Right? And I'm not putting that caller on blast, because I'm not singling him out. I'm just saying that there is a mindset to just say, well, somebody needs to do this. Well, if not you, then who? There is no somebody. There's you. Everybody listening. It's up to you to take action. It's up to you to implement these ideas. Sharing ideas is good, but somebody has to do it. It should be you. Dr. Kelly from California, how you doing?
With your permission, and I have the toll-free Capitol switchboard telephone number for Congress and the senators. Can I give that out?
Yeah, I don't, unless there's some kind of rule against it, I don't see why you can't.
Okay.
Is there a reason? Do you want people to call about something specific, or what?
Yes. Call your senators, call your congressmen, women, and children. I'd like people to visit WiFiFacts.com, antennasearch.com, and the toll-free Capitol switchboard is 877-762-8762. They're there for you 24 hours a day, so that when you're frustrated, you can't sleep because of all the radiobiological weapons or the Prozac in the water, you call them and you speak to your congressmen, women, and children, and your senators and handle business, and let the ones know that are doing the good job that you support them. And
Gotcha.
The ones that aren't doing a good job, get their fax number, and you fax the facts on Friday.
Okay, well, thank you so much for your call. I definitely agree that politicians, they do want to stay in power. So the best thing you can do is call them up, let your voice. I mean, that's what I do. I mean, that's the power of Twitter and other social media, is that they can monitor what we do in real time. There's pros and cons. The deep state monitors us in real time for nefarious purposes, but I've been told, I know this for a fact, the White House does monitor my Twitter feed, and they do monitor what all of you say when you comment and everything else. So it's very, very important. So that was it for the callers. Thank you, everybody, for your calls. There's a lot to talk about today. There's always so much going on. But what I really want to talk about is the transgender ban in the military. But mainly because I want to know what is really going on. And I'm working on the story. This was always going to happen. I knew about this story, but I was told to embargo it. So it was always going to happen. But why today? This wasn't supposed to be released until September. This was not an urgent matter. It wasn't something that needed to be done today. So what's really going on? I don't know. I'm starting to think it is maybe related to the Awan brothers. There has been massive action on the Awan brothers. And in fact, the attorney for one of the brothers issued a statement, which I posted to my Twitter. And for those of you who don't know, Debbie Wasserman Schultz hired a Pakistani IT firm. And by the way, this isn't about Pakistanis. I don't think Pakistanis are bad people or anything like that. But the issue is that imagine Trump hired a Russian IT firm, right? Right away they would say, well, how could you hire a Russian IT firm? Even if they're Russian-American citizens, that would be big controversy. Pakistan funds terrorism. Pakistan is pro-terrorism. Pakistan hid bin Laden for years. They're not an ally of America, and anybody telling you they are is lying to you. There's a major terrorist contingent within Pakistan. So why then are people who are connected, perhaps, to terrorists in Pakistan, and we don't know the full story yet, but we do know that the Awan brothers did have access to Deborah Wasserman Schultz's passwords that showed up in a WikiLeaks. They had access to passwords, they had access to all the information, and they had access to the Republican emails too. That's why the Republicans have not been pushing the story and why it's up to us, the real journalists and the real news, to push the story. The Republicans don't want it out there either because the Awan brothers knew about what they were up to. So there has been an arrest, and let's read that statement. Because, this is just so typical these days. The Awan brothers' lawyer statement, if we could get that pulled up on the screen, that'd be really helpful so I can read it off the screen. So the lawyer goes, the attacks to Mr. Awan and his family began as part of a conspiracy theory, an anti-Muslim bigotry. That's how you know the guy, right? That's how you know the guy is probably wanted for something, because they throw in Pizzagate. The targets are not just coming from the ultra-right-wing Pizzagate media outlets, but the Department of Justice is investigating it too. Now we have the Department of Justice showing up with a complaint about disclosure on a modest real estate matter. Okay, I'm a lawyer. I've done criminal defense work. I've done white-collar criminal defense work. Let me translate this for you. Real estate matter. Well, what do you do when you're paid a lot of money or you want to hide a lot of money? Again, we're going to have to read the indictment, but I'm just telling you as a lawyer, here's what I'm reading in between the line is, a real estate matter, well, why would you be guilty of a crime related to a real estate matter? Usually that means that money is being shifted around. And again, I'm not saying that Mr. Awan has laundered money, but I'm saying he was arrested by the feds. He was caught with a bunch of cash, and he was trying to leave the country, right? So let's just deal with the realm of facts. He was caught trying to leave the country. That is why the FBI moved on him. And I got word from my sources that they were actually monitoring him, and they didn't want to arrest him that quickly. They actually had to take action because he was leaving the country. So they're saying it was because of a modest real estate matter. That's coming from Mr. Awan's lawyer. So that makes me really wonder what is actually going on. What is he also saying? Mr. Awan's family is presently staying with extended family in Pakistan because he and his wife are both abruptly and unjustly fired, leaving them without a reliable source of income. Well, he was making $165,000 as a part-time employee. What were they doing with that money? Deborah Wasserman Schultz had said she doesn't know anything about this guy. He was a part-time employee, but he was paid $165,000 as a part-time employee. I don't know anybody here listening. How many people listening or watching were ever paid $165,000 for a part-time job. So they were paid massive amounts of money, and I think they made over $300,000 from the contract. Who knows what's going on? So he goes to say that's why they were leaving him. Right-wing bloggers were beginning to harass them. So we already know the narrative. He attempted to travel this week to see his family for the first time in months. The government had been informed he would travel. So this is really fascinating. The total spin job. Hastily arrested. We had all this cash. So wait a minute. If he and his wife were, and this is, just thinking about it like a lawyer, if this lawyer is saying that Mr. Awan and his wife lost their job, then why was he caught with a bunch of cash in the airport? Well, I thought he didn't have any money. I thought he couldn't pay living expenses. So he has to leave the country because he doesn't have any money, but he is caught with a bunch of cash leaving the country. So which one is it? This is a really poorly worded statement. I thought it was fake actually at first, because when I read this, I thought this is a bad lawyer. I don't know why anybody would release. I would not release a statement like this about a client facing really serious federal charges. So I looked it up because I was like, I can't believe this is real, that they would actually post it. But then I went on the law firm website and found it, because to me this is madness. They're saying that Pizzagate. What does that have to do with anything? Pizzagate, anti-Muslim bigotry, right-wing bloggers, fired, right? It's like buzzword bingo in the statement. I don't know what their strategy is, other than they have a lot of dirt on probably Paul Ryan. They probably know the truth about Paul Ryan, which not many people do. They know the truth about the Democrats, the DNC leaks. So the lawyer is probably sending out a message, because, again, you should never issue a statement like this on behalf of a client. The lawyer is definitely sending a message out to Congress that the Awan brothers do have all of their secrets, and they will release the secrets. So are they blackmail victims, Deborah Wasserman Schultz, or was she blackmailing people? Did she use the Awan brothers to dig through the emails of Republican congressional leaders so that she could blackmail people because you find out all the secrets about the drugs and the orgies and everything? I don't know, but we're going to keep investigating it. Thanks as always for watching. You can learn more about me at facebook.com/Mike Cernovich. You can also go to twitter.com/CERNOVICA. Thank you as always for supporting me, supporting Alex, what we think of this team. We would be nothing without you, and I will see you next week.
This is GCN, the Genesis Communications Radio Network.
You think our information's hardcore? You think our focus is brutal? Try our nutraceuticals. Try our supplements. We've taken Brain Force and made it Brain Force Plus. Now at 20% more in the bottle and even more hard formula. You owe it to yourself to get these products. They really have worked for myself, my family. They have 5-star reviews by the thousands. Secure your Brain Force Plus today at InfoWarsLife.com. Now 20% stronger. Again, InfoWarsLife.com. After 4 years of research, the next big game changer has arrived. Z-Shield, toxic metal and chemical defense support. It's made in the USA. It's filled with known compounds from nature that are absolutely associated with detoxifying the body, and it supports the InfoWar. It is a classical 360 win. We're changing the world. Now it's time to change our bodies with Z-Shield at InfoWarsLife.com.
Leading a frontal assault on the lies of the New World Order, it's Alex Jones. Resistance to tyrants is obedience to God. It's Alex Jones.
Well, I tell you, ladies and gentlemen, it's either America's brightest hour or we're going into this republic's darkest hour. Thank you so much for joining us on this worldwide global transmission. Already Wednesday, July 26, 2017. You know why they hate me? You know why they now have an entire new Comedy Central show? With Deadline Hollywood and Variety having the headline, new Comedy Central show to air nightly, to be based on Alex Jones, with their comedian, quote, playing the part of Alex Jones. And they will say things and do things every night that I haven't said or I haven't done to create branding with the type of mentally retarded people that believe and watch their channel. And again, I'm not making fun of real people that are mentally retarded. I'm talking about people that have been induced into these comas. They will then simultaneously have news headlines saying that I'm delusional when I criticize it, and they'll say it's not based on me. Just like Homeland and all the other programs or Tuck Bugford. Now, why are they doing this? Because they're scared of the very specifics I'm breaking down. The reason I point that out is people need to understand we have their plan, we know their plan, and they just want you to never look at the plan so that they can basically have air superiority politically. And that's why you notice, you see the former CIA director that told President Trump 2 days before he was inaugurated to watch his mouth. To watch his mouth. He's telling the American people and the voters to watch their mouths. This same globalist operative, you cannot make this up, who lived for 12 years in Saudi Arabia and who worked with the former FBI director to take radical Islam off the FBI's training list, where they couldn't even use the term radical Islam. This creature has come out and called for a coup. Now, that's him saying a coup. That's a military overthrow. Because he knows that the American people are awake. He knows the Republicans are going to win the House next year. Again, all the demographics show it. All the numbers. All the actuaries. All the bots. All the AI. It shows a total realignment. A total realignment. People get that Trump's our figurehead. They get he's not perfect, but they get that they're targeting him to bring us all down. And people get he's a champion, and he's gotten so much done, it brings tears to my eyes, quite frankly. This is so epic, so real. We've gone from such betrayal, such fakeness, such garbage, to him battling like a lion with hundreds of mangy hyenas biting him at every level. And we're sitting here like spectators bitching that, oh, where's my tax cut? Where's my Obamacare repeal? When he's already killed everything else he could with executive order and executive action and courage. And has them openly saying, kill him everywhere. Oh, and of course, get me. Destroy me. Kill me. Put me in prison. And go after everybody else. You notice a lot of other folks are getting intimidated right now. They're kind of pulling back, not being as hardcore. People are hedging their bets. You don't hedge your bets with this. You hedge your bets, we lose everything. I've been hammering that they're planning a coup since the day he was elected. And I laid out exactly what they do because I know how the system works. I know how they would do it. I know how they've done it in other countries and what they've set up here. So it's not, see, I told you so. We're the opposite of fake news. We're super hardcore, on target, news and information. And that's why they're so scared. There's an old saying, he's got your number, or they've got your number. We've got their number. That having somebody's number means you got their address, you know their shoe size, you know how tall they are, you know what they eat in their cornflakes, you know how big their ding-ding is, you know who their mommy was with. We got their number. We need funding. The enemy's after us. We got great products. So to fund ourselves, I sell really great products at very affordable prices, so you like them, and you use them, and you want to order them more. See, I don't think like a globalist. I treat you how I want to be treated, and you treat me like that, and I love you. You're awesome. It is such a pleasure that they want to destroy us, and they can't because you support us, and you pray for us, and you spread the articles, and you buy the products, and you just absolutely are committed. Oh, you're awesome. It's just unbelievable how we rub it in their faces and how our will's stronger than theirs. Ladies and gentlemen, we had to end the super male vitality, super female vitality, the X2 and the Brain Force because they're selling out. And I don't like to just do discounts so good that we're sold out for a month or two before more comes in. There's a limited supply left. Sign up for auto ship, additional 10% off. But now, we only do this a few times a year. 66% off Silver Bullet. It's $24 in stores for the very same colloidal silver. We just private label it for the big national top manufacturer, 30 parts per million. 66% off retail. $9.95. Strawberry Caveman just got in. 25% off. Caveman Combo with chocolate and strawberry. 25% off. Super Silver Special. Silver Bullet, colloidal silver. Super Blue Toothpaste, colloidal silver, fluoride free, and iodine. Power Toothbrush, which is an amazing electric toothbrush that has impregnated silver in it as well. 50% off retail. That's almost a loss leader. Pro Pure Traveler, 30% off. 132 blows away all the other major gravity fed filters that sell the same type of unit that isn't as good for $225. Pro Pure is amazing. InfoWarsStore.com. Alexa Pure Breeze, amazing. Air filtration system. Comparable units are $400. They were like $1,000 a few years ago. They're all getting cheaper as a miniaturization.